for this day. It's a pleasure that we are having this workshop. And though we thank you, God, that you have enabled us to attend. We thank you, God, for everyone who has organized it. Every hand and head that is behind this, may you bless it. And may this workshop benefit us for the good of our institutions in Uganda and our students. For this is my humble prayer in Jesus' name. Amen.
Amen. Thank you so much, Brian, for the word of prayer. So in this session, we are going to have, it is both the teachers and the students who both benefit from this session, and we shall try to see that everyone is on the board. Okay, my name is Stephen Kaziva, and I'm the one who's going to be taking you through this session. Some of the learning outcomes for this session, by the end of this session, you'll have learned what a project is. We are going to look at why we do projects, the different types of projects, examples of projects, steps for writing a project report, and then lastly, how are the projects being assessed, or how is UNEP going to assess these projects? So we are going to share the different types of projects that our learners can undertake in the different schools, and which projects are we not supposed to do. We shall share why are we doing these projects, such that our children can be able to benefit. We shall also share a sample project report that our students can come up with as they write. So dear students, we shall share a report sample such that you know what are you supposed to write at the end of the day, which features are we supposed to have in your report. Now, what is a project? When we talk about a project, one is a structured activities that can be undertaken, one, to help the children deepen their understanding and application of what they learn in class. Students are taught a lot of things, but in order for them to know their use, we need to do some kind of project. Take an example. A student may learn about anaerobic respiration, but if he or she does not have its application, meaning that the knowledge learned will be rendered useless. And therefore, through the projects that we do, they help the children to understand and learn how to apply the projects. So when we talk about projects, are those activities that children can be able to do such that they can be able to understand and apply the content they learn in school. Projects can be those activities that can be done to help us to come up with the solutions to the pressing problems that we have within our society. At times we have very many questions that we keep asking ourselves, and we keep asking ourselves, what solutions can we offer? So coming up with something, we can say that you are coming up with a project. So they help us to develop those problem solving and generic skills. So those are what we call out the projects. Those things that we can do in order for us to come up with a solution that is affecting the societies where we live. So those are what we call projects. So when we talk about projects, we are talking about those different activities that we can do within a given time frame to come up with a solution that is really placing us, that is placing our community, that is aimed at improving our community where we live, where we stay, such that our communities can become much better than the way we found them. So those are what we call now the projects. And now that's what we are going to be dealing with in this session. And why do students do projects? Why does the curriculum want us to do projects? One, to deepen the understanding. Us learning some content in class, at times we may not be able to apply it. But when you do a project, you go a step extra in order for you to understand it much better. Take an example. When you study about renewable energy in physics, or when you study that topic about renewable energy, you ask yourself, what extra step can I take in order for me to be able to understand it much better? So for you coming up with something, like as a student, when you come up with that kind of project that can help you to understand the topic better, we can say that now we have achieved the objective of why we do the projects. So projects will help us to understand and to deepen our knowledge in the different content areas within the curriculum. Two, they help us to solve problems. They develop learners' critical thinking skills and problem-solving skills. Take an example. When you look at many of our schools, you find that after lunch, we throw a lot, when children take their food, they take their meals, you'll find that the food is always wasted. Then as a student, you can ask yourself, what solution can I offer to that wasted food that they throw? That food that they throw can be a good source of food waste that can be used in coming up with a biodigester, in coming up with biogas. So you ask yourself that, how can I solve a problem within a society? You have been, so those solving skills, they are the ones that we shall be employing. Three, when we do projects, we are able to find applications that can be done within the real world. And then we are also able to acquire skills by interacting with the community, by interacting with the teachers, by interacting with stakeholders. Our communication skills are always developed. We learn to work with other people. So through projects, students are able to acquire those skills that can be used or that can be applied in real life situations. Then the engagement, then we can also learn how to do the collaboration with each other, the creativity levels. We have seen students that their creativity has made them turn waste into art. We have seen students do that they have been able to turn the waste into craft. That is now what we call the creativity. So, but that creativity can come in during this project time or during this project hour or during the process of someone doing the project. Okay, then what are the different types of projects? Now we have the first one we call the simple and routine project. So when we talk about simple and routine, those are straightforward projects. Those are projects that require very limited resources. Those are the projects that you can accomplish within a limited time frame. Within maybe 2 hours, within 3 hours, you can be done. Take an example, when you look at in religious education, in case you want to find out the methods of worship within the school community, you can just go ask the different students, make investigation from different classes, and you come up with a simple report. So that is something that is simple and that is straightforward that you can be able to acquire with a limited resource. You just need a paper and a pen, go ask the different students, and then you'll be able to come up with the different ways people worship in their regions. In geography, in case you want to find about the community activities, you can just move around your community and find out. In case, so those are what we call the simple and the routine projects. Take an example, when you are talking about English, things like writing a poem, coming up with a magazine, those are what we call the simple and routine projects, that they take a few minutes or a few hours for you to be able to accomplish. So they involve just the investigation, recording, and then reporting. So that's what we call a simple and routine project. And what are the different, still under simple and routine projects? We can have the different examples, review, locating places, identifying origin. So those are some of what we call the simple. But what is the use of a simple and routine project? One of its main goal is to help the children to acquire knowledge, to deepen their understanding, to acquire skills during the teaching and the learning process. That when you are doing that simple project as a student, or when the teacher gives you that simple project, is to help the children that what the children have learned in class can be reinforced, can be used to acquire a learning outcome. Take an example, maybe when you are teaching maybe any topic within your subject, or when the teacher is teaching you something and he wants you to deepen your understanding of that particular thing, he can tell you, go and do this and the other. So that is the main objective of the doing simple and routine projects. So simple and routine projects are related to what we call the project-based learning and what we call, and the other, what we call the problem-based learning. But that one, we shall look at it when we are looking at the different modes of how you can do the teaching in the competence-based curriculum. Then, these are all these ones I'm giving you now. These are what you call simple and routine projects, things that can be acquired within a short period of time. Developing a calendar, writing a skit, magazine, in history museum, a documentary, a bulletin in history. So these are simple and routine projects. So they can be acquired, they can be done within a short time frame. Others in other subjects, take an example in SRE, the worship thing, charity to the needy, in entrepreneurship, money-making ventures, in performing arts, developing a concert, coming up with songs. Yes, so all these ones are simple and routine projects. Now, what are we going to be doing? Now, when it comes to the second type of project, now that one starts with what we call a driving question, with a probing question. You ask yourself, now when you look at the picture I have displayed, you can see what we call wood scrapping and sawdust. So the student must first ask himself, can this wood scrapping or sawdust be used for another thing? How best can I utilize it? Can I add value on it? That is now the question. The child starts with asking your question. As a student, ask yourself, what else can I use this wood scrubbing for? What else can I use the sawdust for? So that is now the second type of project we are doing. Ask yourself, these are cassava peelings. Ask yourself, what other thing can I use them for? So you ask yourself a question and then you look out for the solution. Another one we can have, when you look at that water that the child is taking, the child is going to take at home, what value can I add on it? So each of these things, the pictures, are the ones that are going to help you to come up with a good project. They are the ones that we are going to use in order for us to come up with the solutions that can help our community. When you go to very many communities, you are going to find them when the water is dirty. You are going to find that they have the peelings. You are going to find that they have those sawdust. These are some of the few I wanted to first bring to your attention before we look at the second type of projects. And therefore now, when we are looking at the second type that our senior 3s and senior 4s are going to do, the first thing that will always have to come to your mind is, what is it? What is the problem? What solution am I going to provide? What is it that is pressing the community? So you look at the problem within the community and then you think about other new innovations, other alternatives that you can provide in order for you to come up with the solution. And therefore, that second is what we call a simple but non-routine project. So when we talk about simple and non-routine, we are looking at those innovative and creative approaches that can be done with limited resources, but we come up with new ideas that can be used within our communities to come up with solutions that are probably affecting our motherland. And some of those projects, so these ones require you to identify a problem and a challenge, and then you come up with a solution to them. Like I've showed you earlier on that we had the cassava peelings. It is a challenge to the community. Which solution can you offer that maybe I can transform these cassava peelings into animal feeds? That this water that is dirty, I can transform it into something that is very clean by coming up with a water filter. That these sawdust, I can transform them into an energy source by coming up with maybe biofuel briquettes. So you have identified a problem and now you are coming up with an alternative source that can be used. So that's what we call a simple and non-routine. Therefore, it requires someone to demonstrate how is applying the knowledge he has learned from class and from different subject disciplines. take an example. When you look at, let me talk about now the sawdust that you saw. The sawdust you saw. Now that one, you may find that you are going to need different subject disciplines. You will need the ideas from physics, because in physics, you are going to talk about renewable energy. After there, you are going to talk about the other chemical changes when you are talking about chemistry. In math, you are going to talk about ratios and proportions. That what kind of ratios do I need in order for me to come up with the different ratios when I'm coming up maybe with the briquettes. Then you are going to ask yourself, what about in entrepreneurship? How will I market my briquettes? So different subject disciplines can come into in order for you to come up with a final product, in order for you to come up with your project. Now, take an example. I've told you, now you have looked at the cassava peeling. Then you ask yourself, what other new uses can I use the cassava for? When I have cassava, which new innovations can I come up with? Can I come up with porridge? Can I come up with this? So you look at the different things, but you look at the different perspectives such that you come up with a solution to what you want to solve. So you can come up with homemade water filtration system. Like we have seen that the child was facing dirty water, but can you come up with something to make the water clean for taking? So those are the different things that we can look at, but those are what we call simple and non-routine, that they requires a child to go an extra mile. They require you to not only to think beyond the box such that you come up with a solution to that pressing problem within your community. Okay, now these are what we call simple and non-routine projects. Okay, and now that's where our concentration is going to be. Now, dear students, those who are in senior 4, I know we may have some senior 3s that have joined. What we are going to be doing is what we call one integrated project. So for all the senior 3s and senior 4s, they are doing an integrated project. But when children are still in senior 1 and 2, they can do group projects, or they can do their projects in groups, such that they can keep on learning together. But when they're in senior 3, senior 4, they are going to do one integrated project. Now, since we are concentrating mainly on the candidates, each child or each learner or each student at your school must come up with one project. And when we say integrated means that different subject disciplines are going to come into play. Take an example like I've talked about, let me talk about the water filtration. You'll find that you will need an idea from biology. You will need an idea from chemistry. You will need an idea from physics, an idea from math, an idea from food and nutrition. So you find that different subjects can be incorporated into that one project, but we shall look at that during the exam. That's what you call one integrated project. So we don't have any specific subject that we are going to concentrate on and say that this is a biology project, this is a chemistry project. No, that one ends at senior 2. But when you reach senior 3, senior 4, you do, or we concentrate on one project that encompasses other different subjects. Then 2, the projects we are going to carry on are the simple and non-routine projects. The projects like the ones I have just showed you in the previous slides, what we call the simple and non-routine projects. Then 3, it's going to be an individual project. So each child in senior 4, you are supposed to come up with your own project, but not as a group project. You come up with that individual thing. But here I always encourage that what you want to come up with as a child, ask yourself always, can I be able to scale it up in the future? That when I go back in the holiday, this project I've come up with, can I use it to make money? Or I always want to say that as you learn, learn as you earn. That let the project, don't look for marks. What makes me happy is not you looking out for the marks, but are you learning? But would you also be able to generate income from what you are coming up with? So keep asking yourself that this project I'm coming up with as a child or as a student, can I be able to make money after coming up with it? will there be continuity, that it is not only going to stop in school, but also after in my vacation, I can continuously do it such that I can keep on developing it and making it much better. Later on, I can be able to generate income from what I have come up with. So you need to keep on thinking such that you don't just come up with something for the sake of getting the marks. At the end of the day, after getting the marks, what next? The curriculum is concentrating on how can we make our children get income? How can we make our children earn from what they are doing, such that the knowledge they are studying, it is applicable to them, that also when they are outside, they can be able to earn from it. We are looking at producing children who have jobs, children who can employ themselves. So that's why we are concentrating on coming up with the projects that can help them become better children. So those are what we call. Then lastly is that these projects are guided by the theme that UNEB provides. But now this year, we are going to work with what is available, because UNEB, there is something that was proposed and it's what we are going to work with. But for the children who are already in senior 4, for you, it is okay to do any project you have ever done, but make it much better. You don't need to concentrate on the theme that UNEB gave us, this the theme that is running, but for you about environment, but for you, come up any project you have done, as long as you see it is good, it's what you can continue with and make it much better. But for senior 3, they must work on the theme that is being provided by UNEB. But for senior 4s, any project you have ever done, it is the one that you are going to submit for marking. Now, we are digging deep into now the projects. Now, the project has 4 competencies that we work on. And when we talk about a competence means a set of demonstrable knowledge, the skills, the values, the behaviors that the learner acquires as a result of their learning experience. That when you do this project, what competences are we going to look at? 1, we expect that the learner is going to be able to plan. So for children who are still in senior 3, dear teachers, this term is for only planning. But for the children who are already in senior 4, if they didn't plan, then they are going to have all these competences done in this term: the planning, implementation, reporting, and dissemination. But for our children who are still like and seated in senior 3, for this term, dear schools, let us do the planning. Then next term, we do the implementation. Then the other term, we are going to go on and do the reporting and then dissemination. But for each of these phases, you are noticing these competency levels. It means that we must be documenting what we are doing. It's not a matter of us doing and then leaving it there. No, we must keep on documenting, such that by the time we reach term 1, we have a complete report. For any step that the child is going to be taking, then we must go on and write it down such that we can be able to have a complete report showcasing all the different levels that our children have gone through in order for them to come up with that particular product. Now, the first phase, I'm going to be taking you through all the phases and tell you the requirements you need within those different phases. The first competence is the planning. So when it comes to planning as a child or as a student, and these are what we are going to, and these ones, everything I'm mentioning here is a scoring point in the project checklist. So anything I'm mentioning here, it is as in what the child, as a student, what you are putting down, these ones must be able to be observed. A child must be able to identify a project, develop a project title, establish the purpose of the project, develop the objectives, justify the project, explain why is he carrying out that particular project. Then identify the resources needed, activity plan, integration of different subject disciplines, incorporate cross-cutting issues, and then the generic skills. So under project planning, as you prepare for your plan, you must have all those 10 must come into play. So genetic skills, you talk about the communication, the creativity, and the other things. So, but those 10 things I'm outlining there, they must come into play. And once the child has all these things, we shall say that that child is now competent, that child now has planned well for his project. So someone marking you or someone assessing your work must be able to look at all these 10 features such that you can be able to score. Now, so this is just a summary of the project plan. So when the teacher is marking or when the teacher is scoring you as a child, for you keep asking yourself, have I been able to identify a project? Do I have a title? Do I have the objectives? Do I have the justification? So keep asking yourself, are all these things observed within my project report or within my project plan, such that the teacher can be able to score you the different marks? Then when we come from there, we are going to ask ourselves, but how do we identify a project and how do we plan for it? In order for us to plan or to identify a project, one, it depends on someone's interests and passions. As a child or as a student, look out for those areas that excite you. Look out for those areas that you really want to work with. Don't go in for something that you are not passionate about. In case you are passionate in agriculture, you can look out for a project within the agriculture field. In case your interest is in education, look out for something within that particular field that is going to excite, that you are going to be passionate, where you don't need the teacher to force you to do something, but you just do it because of the self-love. That in case you want even to become an engineer or you want to go within that particular field, then make sure you can choose something that you are going to be passionate about that will drive you into taking action and coming up with a solution. Two, ask yourself, do I have some skills within that particular thing? Or do I have some knowledge about that particular thing that I want? Then three, look out for the gaps. For any research you are going to do, identify where is the gap within the community. When you look at your community and you see that the problem is power, your community doesn't have power, you really struggle with power, with energy, then you ask yourself, what can I do in order for me to come up with a solution such that my community can benefit from me attending school? That if your problem within the community is maybe cutting down trees, you are seeing everyone is cutting down trees, ask yourself, why are they cutting down these trees? Now you are identifying the gap. After, ask yourself, what solution can I offer? Is there another alternative that I can come up with such that my community can benefit and we reduce on cutting down trees? You are identifying the gap within the thing. Then ask yourself, are the resources that are available? Do I have the resources? Then the next one, number two, what is that thing that makes you angry? Because each one of us, many times, there are things that really make us angry. So those things that make us angry, ask yourself, can I come up with a solution? Whenever you're moving, take an example. Whenever I'm moving, maybe I'm in a taxi going, I always feel very angry seeing people eating and throwing rubbish through the windows of the car. It makes me angry and always ask myself, can't we have a solution to it? Whenever maybe you are in a place and you find people or you find big trucks carrying trees, carrying charcoal, ask yourself, can I provide a solution to it? When you go to lakes or near lakes, you look at at bottles floating on the lake. Ask yourself, can I have a solution? So look at those things that really like piss you off, and that's where now the problem is. That's where you're going to find a problem, and then later on you're going to be able to find out the solution to it. Take an example. At times you see your friends suffering from cough, suffering from flu and other diseases. Ask yourself, can there be something can we do something to it? So is it about their eating habits? Can I come up with some garden? Can I come up with some? So look out for those things that really that trigger your anger, such that you come up with a solution to it. If you identify where your anger rises, then it means that you can be able to think of a solution to that particular problem that you feel can be able to, where you can be able to come up with a solution. 3, make research and analyze it. Because if you are to come up with a good project, you must research. Take time to research and analyze it. Do not just come up and say, this is what I want. Then look at the practicability of your solution. When you are coming up with a solution, ask yourself, will this solution be able to be used by other communities around me? That in case I'm in town, I'm in Kampala, and I have come up with a solution to maybe energy, can people in Karamoja also be able to do it? So there you are solving a society problem that can be used by other people outside your community. And therefore, it means you are adding value to other communities. Then ask yourself, what would be the impact of the project I'm doing to the community? Because at the end of the day, one of the reasons why your parents took you to school is that we want you to create a difference. We want you to create a difference in the communities where you stay. Ask yourself, what impact will this project have on the community? In case, maybe take an example. Some of you are like in some of our schools, you find that maybe there is our toilets or our latrines that we use, they have some undesired smell coming from them. Ask yourself, can I come up with something to reduce on that smell, to have those house flies reduced? Because I know they can carry on some diseases later on. So can I come with a solution to that smell that comes from the latrines? Then you doing that, you are going to be able to create a big impact, that you are going to get the knowledge from the one you have developed it from your school, take it to your community. Your community members will be able to use that knowledge to make the villages better. So we are looking at what impact can the project you have come up with have on the environment or have on the community. You have maybe come up with a fertilizer that is good, that maybe you have come up with NPK. Ask yourself that if this fertilizer, I have come up with, can it help my community members? Because now when you come up with fertilizers, it means that your community members are going to be able to use it, your school is going to benefit, and later on, because it is your knowledge, you are going to keep on scaling it up, and you'll be able to come up with, you'll be able to generate income or money from what you have come up with. So look out at what difference are you going to make within your community. Okay, now one of the proposed theme that UNEP came up with, it was telling us that environmental sustainability, a responsibility for all. And you're going to allow me that I'm going to use this theme such that I can generate different projects within this theme, and I show you how we can develop and help our children within schools or the children we have within the call, how they can pick out some ideas. So when we talk about environmental sustainability, what does it mean? Environmental sustainability means the preservation and protection of our natural environment. It looks at how can we preserve and protect our environment over time. Because when you look at the nature, I think some few months back, you notice that it was really very hot. So this project or this idea or this theme looks at how can we preserve and protect the environment where we live, the environment where we stay, and the rest of that. So now that is the theme that we can work with. So the first thing we always do, identify the keywords within the theme. That one of the keywords is environmental sustainability. You are looking at preservation. Are there some policies? Are there some practices that can be done in order for us to protect and preserve our environment? So that is what we need to look at. And therefore, when we are looking at environmental sustainability, there are 4 key areas that we are going to look at. One, it can be about resource efficiency. how can we optimize the materials, the energy, the water to minimize environmental impact? 2 is how can we reduce wastes within our environment or within our societies. So that's what we call how can we reduce, how can we reuse and recycle materials. Then number 4 is sustainable sourcing. So we are looking at how can we use friendly materials within our environments such that we can be able to protect it. Then number 4, we are looking at the carbon footprint. When we talk about carbon footprint, we're looking at the total amount of greenhouse gases that are always being generated because of our actions. There are very many actions that we do. Take an example, when people are cooking, when people are using cars and the rest of that, always there are some gases like methane, carbon dioxide that are always released. So ask yourself, how can we preserve our environment and how can we minimize such gases from being produced within our environment? So environmental sustainability has those 4 major things. So any project you are going to be talking about, ask yourself, which component, where am I lying? Am I looking at optimizing resources and energy and water use? Am I looking at reducing the waste within the environment? Am I looking at sustainable sourcing? Am I looking at the carbon footprint? So you look at the different things and then you come up with the solution. So, your goal 1 should aim at seeing that our environments are much better. You can be able to reduce the green gas emissions, increasing the production and use of energy and other things. And also raising awareness within our communities. Now, looking at my screen, you are noticing that I have been able to put for you different pictures that depict some of the problems we have within our communities. Now, as a child or as a student, ask yourself, what solution can I offer to any of these problems I'm seeing? When you look at the first one, you can notice that there is a lot of gas being released within my community. Because when you look at the first picture, you can see that it is we have what? Gas here. These are industries emitting a lot of pollution. Look at here, poor waste disposal. You find that the animals, and this is around the lake. Look at this. People always keep on burning things. Smoke is being released. Look at this. This is poor waste disposals. Look at our housing. This is one of the areas within Kampala. Look at this. This area is experiencing drought. You have seen people at times plant their crops, and at the end of the day, because our environment, we keep on affecting our environment, we keep on getting such scenarios whereby a farmer plants his crops, but at the end of the day, the crops end up drying because of the too much sunshine. Ask yourself, do I have a solution? So keep thinking, which solution can I offer to such a problem? So if you have identified a problem, then think about which solution can I offer to it. I can add more. You have seen, see this one. You have seen in our communities. The first picture here displays very well how the insects are affecting our crops. You cannot see children fighting to get water. You can notice that people here are burning wood, are cutting down trees in order for them to get charcoal to use for food and the rest of that. So ask yourself, what solution can I offer to these problems? So for you, look at the problem and ask yourself, can I come up with a solution to it? When I look at these insects damaging our crops, can I come up with an insect trap? Can I come up with that insect trap that can trap all these insects? For this water that is dirty that people are taking, other people are doing, can I come up with a solution to it? People are burning wood. People are burning, here cutting down trees. Can I have an alternative source instead of them burning? What else can we do in order for us to minimize such things from occurring again? So look at this. All these are problems you have seen within your communities. These are problems that are existing. When you go to some areas, you'll find people cutting out for. When you go to areas within town, within our villages, you'll see that always the trenches are blocked because of the too much plastics, because of the too much thing. When you come to your homes or when you go to our home, you'll find that always we mix the items that can be recycled and the items that cannot be recycled. You find that in very many pits, you find there is a lot of food, there is a lot of waste. Ask yourself, what alternative source, what alternative thing can I use? Now, when you look at this picture here, I'm looking at, ask yourself that these food wastes that people are throwing, what other alternative, what solution, what can I use them for? That can I use them to produce biogas? Can I use them to come up with animal feeds? Can I use them to come up with something? So ask yourself such questions. So projects require you to keep asking yourself questions that can drive you into obtaining a solution to that particular problem. Okay. So some of the key environmental challenges, some of the things that are affecting our environment, I've highlighted for you about 10 of them. There are many. You find that there's a lot of global warming, there's overconsumption of natural resources, pollution, soil degradation, water wastes, and the rest of that. So there are very many other things that are really affecting our environments. And now we need to ask ourselves, how can we come up with a solution such that we reduce or we minimize these things in our communities? But all these things we are talking about are going to be rotate about what we call the Sustainable Development Goals. When you have the Sustainable Development Goals, it's where we are going to be rotating around. So teachers on the call, I want you to dig deep onto what we call the Sustainable Development Goals. And when you look at these Sustainable Development Goals, it's where we are all the problems that we are looking for, all the problems whose solutions we are looking for come from. So look at the Sustainable Development Goals, dear teachers. Ask yourself, if even you can give them to students, tell them, go and read about this Sustainable Development Goal, that in case it is about climate action, it is about life below water, life on land. So environment is rotating around that. Let them go and dig deep into these Sustainable Development Goals. Then they can be able to come up with the different solutions and know more about the things that are placing this world. Because the moment you identify the problem within your community, it means that you can be able to come up with a solution and mean that your contribution to the community will last forever. So those are what we call the Sustainable Development Goals, and it is where we shall be rotating about. If we find a solution, we would have helped this world to live in a much better way. Now, what are we going to do? Now, I'm going to take you through. Now, I've showed you the different problems, and now I'm going to show you what are some of the solutions we can offer to these problems, such that now by the time the child leaves this call, or by the time you leave, you can be able to know what exactly are you supposed to do, or what ideas you can come up with to the pressing problems for this community. Now, when you look at this picture, I'm showing you that in many parts of this country, people are burning trees. People are cutting down trees to carry on agriculture, to construct industries, construct homes, and the rest of that. But one of the things they do is that when you cut out trees, you want to get charcoal. And from charcoal, you want to be able to cook and the rest of that. But now, what is the solution? Is there something that can minimize cutting down of trees? That instead of cutting down 50 trees, at least cut 5. But are there other alternative sources of energy we can use in order for us to camp? Then is what I'm going to take you through. Now, the first step is what we call project identification. Under project identification, and this is what now the child is going to be writing, or as a student, that you are going to ask yourself that, what is your motivation? What is that thing that motivated you to come up with this problem? How did you identify this particular problem that you want to solve? Which solution are you going to offer? Now, this is a sample of what we call a project identification. Take an example. It says that over time, there have been long-term changes in the temperatures and weather patterns, resulting in remarkable shifts in the climate worldwide. Since the 1800s, human activities have been the main drivers of climate change, primarily due to the burning of fossil fuels like coal, oil, and gas, which produces heat-trapping gases and killing of plant covers. In Uganda, several households mainly use firewood and charcoal as the main source of fuel for cooking. This has resulted in accumulation of carbon dioxide in the atmosphere as the trees are cut down. Remember, whenever you cut a tree, there is a lot of carbon dioxide that is in the atmosphere that would have been trapped by the tree. So the moment you reduce the trees, it means that you are increasing the carbon dioxide within the environment. So this phenomenon has led into what we call the climate change in our country. However, many local food markets and houses release much food waste. When you go to local food markets, like you go to Owino, you go to Wandegea, and those ones around your area, you'll notice that there is a lot of food waste that they keep on releasing on a daily basis. However, when you look at these food wastes, they can be used as an alternative source to something. So to cut down the usage of firewood and charcoal, we can use those food wastes that people throw to come up with an alternative source of energy, what we call the biogas. So now this is identification. You are identifying the problem within the community, that there is a lot of food that is being wasted, of which you can use in order for you to come up with a solution. A case in point, this is one of the child in one of the schools that she noticed that there is a lot of food that the school keeps on throwing. So for her, what she did, during lunchtime, she went and collected this food that they were throwing in the pit. After collecting this food, the child went on and now is coming up with a biogas. But this biogas she's coming up with, it is going to be using the food wastes collected from the school, and one of the aims, what she wants to come up with something that is portable, and she's going to be using these 2 jerry cans you are seeing. So it can be one of the things. Another one I can show you, still within the same caliber. Take an example. Another child came up with, this is the project identification, that in certain areas of Uganda and most likely across the world, there are many people who have no access to clean water due to their water sources being polluted, very many things. So this child is coming, he has identified a problem and is coming up with a solution to the dirty water. Another child went on and said that glass is a non-crystalline solid, because when you read it through, you can notice that for this child, for her, particularly, she identified that many times people go on to take alcohol and other things, of which they keep on throwing those different glasses and bottles. But those glasses can be used for something else. So she's coming up with a solution to that. Another child went on and said that there is this one, for the person is coming up with something else. This one is looking at how he can utilize technology to increase on the awareness of the different things, but mostly was concentrating on classrooms. Another one came up with another idea that with the high use of chemical fertilizers, soil is losing its fertility and value due to the damaging chemicals that harm its nutrients that help the growth and productions of plants around the world. You have seen that many farmers keep on using chemicals, year in, year out. But can't there be another alternative thing that can be done in order for us to minimize using of those chemicals? Something very organic. So the person is coming up with that organic material that can be used to come up with a manure, to come up with the fertilizers that farmers can use. Another one came and looked at his school. He notes that at school, as many schools take, let me say, they take water, they take a lot of sodas, and always those bottles are thrown around. And what is the student coming up with? The student wants to come up with a trash can, whereby everything that the children are throwing within the community are collected somewhere. Another one, So these are just different ideas. I just want you to pick an idea on how to write your project identification. Another one is saying that about 1,000 bottles, most special practices, are thrown around the streets of Kampala. Now you find that these children, when they are moving around Kampala, they keep on seeing those different bottles being thrown, and they're asking you, so can we have a solution to that placing problem within the community? So that is how we have to identify the different problems within our communities, such that we can be able to come up with the solutions that are really placing our communities. So those are just a few samples that I wanted to just share with you as we look forward to developing much better things going forward. Okay, but I'm seeing a hand. Allow me to first pick this hand from Loyal College. I think Loyal College, you have a hand. Yes, Loyal College, Namgong, kind and unmute.
So please, you also speak from the key areas. Up to now, we are lost for sure.
I beg your pardon?
Master, you're taking us speedy from almost the key areas.
Okay. Okay, sorry about that. I'm going to, okay. Okay, sorry about that, but let me see what I can do. Okay. Okay. Okay, sorry about that. So let me call out the place. So that is how you have to identify your project identification. So ask yourself, what problem are we facing? There is another one I wanted to show you. Let me see whether I can see it. Let me see whether I can see it here. I wanted to show you that children have come up with different things. Let me see whether this is the one. So, okay, now this is another one. Let me hope you can be able to see it. This is another one that the children have come up with. Now, when you look at this one on my screen, someone is saying that every day on the streets of Kampala and other busy areas in Uganda, you'll see people enjoying sugarcane and bananas. But after they are done, the tough outer part of the sugarcane and the banana peels are often end up being thrown onto pits and discarded. So when you look at these pictures, you can notice that when you look around Kampala or other busy areas, you'll find these men and women selling sugar canes. But after, they keep on throwing these the husks anywhere within the town. But these wastes that they throw can be a good sources that you can use to come up with biochar, that you can use to come up with biomass briquettes. So once you transform these, you can transform these sugarcane husks into something that can be used for cooking. So you look at the problem within. Now this child might have gone to Kampala and asked herself, what else can I use these sugarcane husks that people keep on throwing? What else can I use them for? So now by doing so, you are coming up with a solution that you can provide to the community within your area. So that's what you call the project identification. Look out for the problem within community. Look around your community. Ask yourself, what problem is there? What thing that keeps on blessing you? And ask yourself, what solution can I offer? So within the project identification, you are going to ask yourself, what is the problem? What is the motivation? What is that is motivating you? How did you pick the idea for your project? What are you going to do and what are you coming up with? That's what we call the project identification. So all those parameters must appear within your project identification. What motivated you? How did you pick the idea? What solution are you offering? And what product are you coming up with? And now when you're writing your plan, include the photos. Like I've showed you this one for the child that came up with the for the sugarcane. Include those photos that motivated you to come up with that particular idea. So don't leave out the pictures. Include them in your report to show someone that I picked the idea because of this and this. That as I was moving around my area, I noticed that in the night, all the area is always dark. There is nothing. So I came up with a solar panel. I came up with an alternative source that I'm staying near a river that keeps on flowing. But I know that this river, if I do something, I can come up with an energy source. So you keep on coming up with such solutions. Now, 2 is stating what we call a project title. Now, when we are talking about the project title, I've given you here 4. We are developing one project, the one I've showed you. And now, when you look at this, when you are talking about a project title, it must have between 7 to 25 words. That should be your range. That any project you are coming up with, master the words you are supposed to have, not less than 7 words. So when you look at this title of ours and you count how many words do you have, then you'll be able to see that this is 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15, 16, 17, 18, 19, 20. So it is within the range of the words that are needed. So after doing so, ask yourself, is it a good title? Now, a good title must have, what are you going to do? That I'm going to produce biomass briquettes. After that, you ask yourself, what are you going to use? That I'm going to use food wastes. Which solution are you providing? So that is now what you call the title. Okay, let me first pick this hand. Kameke Senior Secondary School. Kindly unmute.
Yes, this is Peter Opio from Kameke Senior Secondary School.
Yes.
I would like you, the presenter, at least balance these subjects because not everyone is a teacher of geography. For an example, art. We have been doing so many projects like printing, designing, making so many things. How can I develop now that project in that kind of area? Okay, sir.
Okay, thank you. I'm going to talk
welcome.
about it. Okay. Yes, I'm seeing Chosen Moses.
Yes, good morning, presenter.
Good morning.
This is Chosen Moses from Endeja Iluero.
Yes.
I would love to beg you to repeat for me that when you say that project title must have a maximum of how many words?
Okay. I'm going to share that. Okay. Another thing, or that is it? So a project must have between 7 to 25 words. Between 7 to 25 words. So when you look at the titles I have here, they have 20 words. Techno. Okay. Nansana. Yes, Techno.
I'm inquiring. You maybe I joined a little 20 minutes late, but the time frame for this project, especially for these candidates, some of us had not really caught up with the whole idea. We need to know how fast we can do it and how long the project can take. Thank you.
Okay, thank you. Allow me now that we first, Nansana first come. Okay.
Hello.
Yes.
Good morning, sir.
Morning.
This is Adnan from Yumbe.
Yes.
I want to know after your presentation, if there is a way you can share your presentation, a soft copy. We needed that.
Okay. Yes. Okay. Yeah. Okay. So I will share this presentation with everyone and you'll be able to access it. Then those who were asking the time frame for the project, that time frame is that we have this second term to say that the candidates have their projects submitted such that the marking starts. But I'm going to show you that at a later time, at the end. at the end of the presentation. But let us work within this time frame we have, within the 2 months, such that we see that these projects are submitted. Then, like I said at the start of the session, that these projects are not individual subject projects. There is nothing like it is an art project, it is a physics project, it is a bio project. No, it is an integrated project. So if the children have been doing, let me say art, ICT, what, let you bring other subjects within this. Take an example for the biomass production. I'm going to bring in the art aspect. What are the art people going to do? That someone who is offering art, I'm going to bring in the idea of art, one, through looking at designing or coming up with a poster to sensitize people about the different things when you burn down trees. I'm going to come up with a logo such that I can put on my briquettes after me packaging. So there I'm bringing in art. I'm going to sit down, I draw, I take to the fine art teacher to help me to make it much better, such that I can come up with the idea. So it is not specific that it is physics, it is bio, and the rest. Now, when I talk about this biomass production, I'm going to bring in the subject of biology. That when I talk about biology, there is a topic about anaerobic respiration. When I talk about chemistry, they study materials, they study chemicals. When I talk about math, they study about ratios and proportions. When I talk about English, they have a topic concerning pollution. Geography, they have a topic about pollution, environment, and the rest of that. So all other subjects come and you work as a team. So this child brings in the different ideas from the different subjects into one project. So it's not an individual project, that this project is for art, this project is for ICT, this project is for this subject. No, it is integrated, that all other subjects can come into that project that the child has come up with. Okay, but allow me to continue because currently, okay, power is gone. So we need to be very fast such that I can be able to complete. So when you look at the slides, you can notice that I have given you the different ways you can state your project title. So I've said that your project title, let it show what is the child doing. What are you doing that you are producing biogas? If you are producing biogas, what are you using? That I'm using food wastes. Which solution are you offering? That I'm offering a solution to climate change. So if those ones are there, then it means that your title is a good title. So it should be able to contain between 7 to 25 words. And once those words are being attained, it means that you have written a good project title. But if the words are less than that, let me say you have written 2. Let me say you say biogas production. Those are just 2 words, meaning that you have not satisfied the requirements for a good project title. So you must be able to make it such that it has all the words that are needed. A case in point, let me share. Oh, sorry. Let me share. And I show you now how will the teachers mark you. Take an example. Let me remove this screen. Hope there's a screen appearing. Take an example. This is the observation check list for projects. Now, what is going to happen? That your teacher is going to come at this screen here. And this is for the teachers who are going to be your supervisors. And then they ask themselves that as this child, let me pick a red pen. Okay, this is a red pen. They'll ask themselves, 1, identifying the project. Has this child identified the project? Then the teacher will ask, has he been able to review literature? You notice that under my project identification, I was able to show you that across different countries or from around this year, it means that I read some literature about it. So the teacher will tick. Ask, has the child been able to consult the teachers, the peers, and other committee members? Yes, that this child went to the chemistry teacher, asked him about this. This child went to the members within the community and asked, the teacher will tick. Then, has he been able to consult external communities? External communities here, it can be your parent, it can be people within your village, it can be anyone around. So if at all the child has done so, then as a teacher, you'll come and tick. And then you'll come to this box, you put an indicator that the child has obtained 3. Now, when it comes to the title where we are now, the child will ask, or the teacher will ask himself that, develops a project title. Is it related to the theme? That now the theme we are on is environment. That yes, there is an idea about environment, is conserving and preserving the energy resources. Then, is it within the acceptable words? That yes, it is between 7 to 25 words. So as a teacher, you keep counting how many words they are. Then you tick. So you put here an indicator that this child deserves a 2. Now, after doing so, the teacher will come again in the, this is the checklist and say that for this particular child, here, this child has obtained a 3. Here, the child has scored a 2. So the teacher will fill in your scores that is they are going to submit to UNEB. So this is just a sample to show you what you are supposed to do. But for anything we are doing, the teacher will first fill in this checklist, and then the person in charge will go on and fill in later on. Okay. Now let me continue. Let me hope that one is clear to everyone. Okay. I'm seeing this hand. Sekamate. Okay. Let me ask you, those who may have questions, kindly, Sekamate, you can ask.
Oh, thank you. Kindly, you scroll again on the other, whatever. Wait, what we submit to your name. Thank you very much.
What we submit to your name? Okay.
Yeah. What you had shared.
Okay. Just a minute. Okay, I think this is what you want. Okay. Okay. Okay, I think let us continue. But in case of questions, we can put them in the chat. Put them in the chat. I can be able to access them. I can be able to access them. Okay, now the next one is what we call the objectives. Now, when it comes to objectives, stating your objectives for the project, I want to encourage the students and the teachers that let us not go beyond 5 objectives. Even if the child has 3 objectives, those are enough. Let us not go to very many objectives, because when there are many, it means that the child will have to do a lot in order for the child to accomplish them. So having 3 is okay. Having 4 is okay, but more than 5, it can be much. So let us look at objectives that, one, when we are stating objectives, let us follow the SMART thing, the acronym, that let them be specific. Specify that what are you doing that I'm producing biomass briquettes? 2, are they measurable? Will the child be able to achieve them? Are you going to be able, can you measure them? Are they measurable? Yes, that I can know how much weights I need. Are they attainable? Realistically, when you look at them, can the child be able to attain? Are they realistic? And is it time bound? So you look at all those different aspects. So here, for the objectives to be SMART, the teachers are going to come in to help the children at your respective schools to ensure that the children set objectives that are SMART. And when we are stating objectives, always we use the action verb to do this, to do this, to do this. So the first one here, I can say, to produce biogas using household food waste sufficient for cooking and lighting in a home. 2, reduce the amount of food waste. Because our project here, we are looking at reducing the food waste. So the first objective I start with the major objectives. What the major one? Then the rest ones can be the minor objectives. Then to reduce the amount of food waste, to reduce the rate of deforestation, because by making the biomass briquettes or by coming up with biogas, it means that what is going to happen within my community is that the number of trees being cut are going to reduce, to raise awareness about the benefits of sustainable energy. So someone is looking at those two things, that after this child has done the project, is going to do what you call project dissemination, is going to go to the community and teach people about how these projects, how this biogas is going to save. So it's going to promote that awareness within the community. So make sure you state everything you think your project is going to achieve. Now, after doing so, the teacher again is going to go and look at the checklist. I think let me be doing it at the same time. So the teacher will come again and go to the checklist and ask himself, as this child look at the objectives, are they specific? That yes. Are they measurable? Yes. Is it time bound? Yes. Are objectives linked to the purpose or title? That yes. In case this is what the teacher is saying, let me say 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Then the teacher will come here and he puts for you 5. Then ask, is the purpose for the project? Is the goal or aim of the projects that the learner is intending to achieve? That yes, that I'm saying this. Does it reflect the title and the theme? In case it is yes, the teacher will tick. In case it's not yes, the teacher doesn't. And then the teacher will put here the indicator as 2. So when I go back here, that is what I want us to know. Then when it comes to the purpose of the project, what is that purpose? Why are you doing that particular project? So to use the household food waste to produce biogas for cooking and lighting, to replace the usage of firewood and charcoal. So that is the purpose for the project. The why is what we call the purpose. The why, like when you ask yourself, what is my purpose? Why do you think you are created? Why do you think you are coming up with this solution to the problem? That's what we call the purpose. The reason for being, the reason for doing something is what we call the purpose for the project. Okay. Now, when I look at this, we have other projects that we can form. Take an example. A child may come up with solar cooker. That is very okay. So you can come up with a solar cooker and other things. So I wanted to just show you some of other things that you can come up with. So I'm going to display on my screen the different project ideas the students can come up with, such that they can be able to start or to kickstart their projects. Take an example. When you look at the pictures, I picked this picture, I think from somewhere, and the child had come up with a smart garden using water bottles, and he was able to plant, because you know that space now is limited. So you can come up with something. So when you look at this here, those people who live in the village areas, you can plant something down, you can plant something up. When you look here, these are children that were doing something in solar cooker. When you come here, this child here was making a sensor, was coming up with a sensor. This is a solar cooker. This is a biogas thing that the child is coming up with, something like of this nature. So you can come up with a biogas. Now, when I go to art, some children, because you have seen many people take beer, many people take wine and other things. So they keep throwing the bottles. So children have come up with good artistic work. So when you look at this work, it contains it's going to contain chemistry when they're studying about materials. In art, you look about the different designs. In ICT, you are looking at graphics, how to design using publishers and the rest. So you can design for your project an artistic thing. In math, you look at patterns. So when you look at patterns in math, you can come and develop a pattern on your bottle, and you come up with those artistic things. When the towards come, or when you want to beautify your home, you can come up with such things. When you come in languages, you can talk about it. You can write a blog about it. So these are the different things. When you look here, still someone is coming up with some artistic thing. When you look here, someone was coming up with a chair. So when you look at this screen, this is a chair. Here down, this is a chair that was made using the plastic bottles. Someone collected, he rounded them using a cardboard, and now he was able to come up with a chair that someone can use to sit. I've seen people coming up with the fences using those plastic bottles. Those plastic bottles, you can come up with a good fence. You have chicken at home, you have this, you can come up with a cage where chicken can be kept. So where you can keep those hens, but using the water bottles. So those are different ideas. You can come up with the beakers where the feeders, where the things can eat. You have seen at times when glasses are thrown, at times glasses break at our respective schools. What else can we use the glasses? So as the art teacher or as an art student, can you come up with decorative things? Apply the mathematics, apply this subject and the other. So you have seen children coming up with the different ideas that someone can come up with something that can help the community. So this is one of the students that the sugar canes I've been talking about. This child decided to come up with this kind of briquette, or what we call a block. This child is called Priscilla. So Priscilla came up with this kind of briquettes. So this is the briquette that the child came up with, but he was using the sugarcane residues, those residues you see being thrown, and other ingredients, and he was able to come up with this block. And when you look at this block here, it can cook your food for some good time. You put one block, and then it cooks for you almost the whole day. And when you look at it, look at mathematics. You are looking at the shape. Here, the child can even investigate. If I use a shape of this nature, it is more or less like a cylindrical shape. And I look at another shape, maybe another figure that is maybe rectangular. Which one will burn very fast? Which one will save energy? So by doing so, you can notice that you can make a change. And even when you look very well, you can notice that he was also using something that is wasted. This is a latomeric thing where he compacted these things and then he came up with his thing. So we can come up with different things using what we have within our community. So these are different ideas that I want students to pick up. When you look at these are water bottles. Those people who take sodas and the rest. Someone came up with something artistic that we can use to promote our schools. You can put it as a school board or school billboard and the rest of that. You cannot, when you look at this, when you go to houses, you are going to notice that many people have what we call them those dome mats. But someone went and got those covers and came up with a dome mat. When you look at this one, these ones, they're using them as trays. And you know those things, those covers on sodas. Someone designed them, put another color, and came up with things. So when you look here, one, you can notice that there is pattern. Blue, green, blue, green, blue, green. So blue, green means that is mathematics. The child is applying patterns and algebra. When you look at them, you can notice that even the shape, this is art. In art, they study a topic about this. In chemistry, they study things about chemicals and the rest of the materials and the rest of that. So all other ideas, someone now of ICT, the child is going to go and say, now, how am I going to promote my product to the community? That I'm going to go, I take a picture of my product, I design a very good post about it using my ICT skills, and I post for people to watch. So that is ICT. I'm going to take a video. So someone is observing. And when you look at all these ideas I'm showing you, if a student goes back in the holiday and he or she scales them up, it means that this child can be able to get money from it. He can be able to get, because now this child I'm talking about, the child I showed you, the one who's making briquettes, he has started now doing the packing. He has started doing the packing, that he wants to pack all his briquettes such that he can sell them to the nearby community members. But what is he doing, Alice? Because one of the tasks that she's working on, one of the tasks she's now working on is to come up with a good poster. So she's applying art to come up with a good card that is containing the briquettes. She has done the packaging, and she's going to write there some words using those things of art, and then she comes up with a product. So at the end of the day, as a student, ask yourself, can I be able to sell this product I've made? Can I be able to earn from it? So learn as you earn, such that what you do, does your knowledge you acquire from school can be used. You don't just study to leave it there, but what else can you use it for? So that is now what we want, because the aim of the curriculum is to produce those citizens that have the employable skills. When you look here, you cannot say, still these are water bottles. These are water bottles, and someone is coming up with a pencil holder whereby you can put pencils. You know, those nursery schools, children lose a lot of pencils, but you can come up with something very decorative. Then, still, let me just take a bit. Now, we have those items that we can recycle. So all these items I'm showing here, we can recycle them and get something from them. But you must be able to think critically such that you can be able to come up with a solution. We have those that we cannot recycle. We have those we can recycle. Ask yourself, what can I do with these particular ones? Because these ones, all of these ones you can recycle, but you keep asking yourself, what can I do with them? What else can I do with those particular ones? So we have those we cannot recycle, but we have those we can recycle. You have been seeing these glasses at home. How can you recycle it and use it? All these things we are looking at, we are aiming at protecting our environment. So let us keep asking ourselves, what are you doing? Why are you doing it? And what are you using it for? So that is the first thing. And now I want to first show you before we go to the next phase, because remember, what I was looking for was just the first phase of planning. So everything I was showing you is about planning. Now, let me show you a sample report for now planning. I'm going to use this one. So we have said that the first thing is the first competence, which is about planning. So write your project identification. Include some photos that talk about what you have said. Then 2, have your project title. This is the project title. Then from the project title, have the aim, the goals, what you want to achieve. That is the goal. What do you want to achieve? Number 3, have the purpose. This is now a sample of your report you are going to present for planning. For senior 3s, we expect that by the end of this term, you present something like this. For senior 4, now we expect, since we have limited time, we can do something as long as you are serious at what you are doing and passionate. We can do something because I know you have been doing something in the past. But now, how can you bring it together such that you come up with a good report? So after, write the objectives, justification for your objectives, identify the resources you are going to use. Now, under identification of the resources, here, identify everything you're going to use and give their use. That and now for this particular one who was making briquettes, he wanted the sugarcane husks, he wanted banana peelings, cassava flour, a carbonizer, and then in the table is showing us the cassava flour and what he needed, and the use of each of those materials that the child was doing. That cassava flour, it is used as a binder. Charcoal dust is used as a feeder. Sugarcane, they're used for making biochar. I need a molder, and for this case, you notice that this child used the tin that looked like the one of Latomilk. Then I'll need a charcoal stove just to test out the product that I've come up with. That when I have a charcoal stove, I can place on my thing and I test. How does it work? Does it really work or no? Now, after, include the budget. Remember here you are planning. But like we have said that for these projects, it must be a friendly project. It must be something that is friendly, yes, such that it is within the school means. Let the schools not stretch a lot to support, to give support to your project, and let your parents, but it can be that thing within the minimum thing. So when you look at it, you can notice that the budget, when this is about 11,000 in total, when you check well, I'm saying it is about 11,000, which is within the school means that someone can get. So we need to look at those particular things such that we can be able to come up. So the budgeting, let it be a friendly budget. Then the most important one that I'm going to emphasize is the integration of different subject disciplines. Like we have said that the project that you are coming up as a student, it must be able to integrate all the different subjects. It shouldn't be an independent subject, that art only, that physics only. No, let it be one project, and that particular project, let it have other subjects incorporated within it. Take an example. For this particular one, we have biology. And which area within biology can we look at? Diversity of living things. Look at chemistry. Which area in chemistry can we look at? That in chemistry, we study carbon in the environment. So here, the child can relate that knowledge of carbon in the environment. In chemistry, they study about fuel and energy. So can the child relate? When it comes to physics, they study about energy resources, they study about heat and temperature. When it comes to geography, they study about natural resources and environment. When it comes to agriculture, they study about soil, crop, and the rest of that. You can even investigate and say, today I've used sugar canes. Are there other crop things that I can use that maybe when I try this kind of crop residues, can they work well? Yes, so you ask yourself, are there other alternatives that which when I try out we can come up with a thing? Look at mathematics. You are going to look at ratios, that when you are mixing the sawdust, you are mixing this. Which ratio are you going to consider for your briquettes? Look at the shape. Which shape are you going to use? You study dimensions in math. Look at proportions, that now I want to scale it up. Here, look at entrepreneurship, that after coming up with your product, in entrepreneurship, they study about market. That after coming up with my product, how am I going to go on and market it to the community? How will I convince my teacher to buy the product? Because the first market in your schools, as children, you are doing these projects, are your teachers. Go develop your project. Tell teacher, I've come up with a project. Teacher, can you be able to support me? They are going to be the first market for yourself. Take it to the head teacher. Sell it to him. Tell head teacher, this is your package. Go and try it out. And then it is you to tell which amount you want to give him from my project. So the first market is going to be within your school, and then you scale it up to the community. So we have entrepreneurship, ICT. Bring in the ICT. Say, now I need to design a good logo for my project. So because I'm dealing in briquettes, let me go, I design a good logo. But before I design a good logo, I need to first sit down, I draw the artwork. Then I take to the art teacher to tell him, teacher, how can I write this? Can I write my title? Let me say, you are writing art, then ask your teacher that I'm going to come up with a business, with something like a card. When I write like this, biomass, briquettes made, and then I put a picture here, will it be very good? Then the art teacher will be able to advise you that now we shall need a frame here, then put here something, put something, maybe you need to put some fire here. You are bringing the knowledge of art. So all subjects can be covered. So in this project, I've told you, now I've talked about biology, I've talked about chemistry, I've talked about physics, I've shown you math, I've gone on to show you entrepreneurship, I've been able to show you geography. You can go about history. History here, you read things about the past. You can go and search on the internet. People who have produced, people, like even you can ask here, you can do investigation. Ask people who have been producing briquettes. What are their challenges? What do people don't like about them? There you are using your history knowledge. Okay? So you can have all these subjects incorporated. We have talked about ICT in it. We have talked about art. Yes, then, you can even bring in languages. English, you are going to come in English. They study something about pollution. Bring the idea, what you learned in English. You're going to make a blog about what you have written. You're going to write, maybe it can be a good poem, advertising your what? Your briquettes. You can say, briquettes, the best bio briquettes in town. This and this. So you are bringing the knowledge of English. There's even some literature. So all other subjects can come within what you have done. You don't need an independent subject. Check out how you can bring other ideas. Come on Kiswahili. You can come and say, now I want to add in some Kiswahili because now we are living in an East African community. So you can come up. I think you have seen people who, I think it is on electricity. There is some Kiswahili word they use. Is it, I don't remember, harambe something. You can come up with something in Kiswahili and you put it on your logo. So you're bringing different ideas from different subjects to integrate them within your project. So when you count biochemistry, physics, math, geog, art, ICT, history, language, Kiswahili, you have about 9 subjects. This is very, very good. So let us see how can we bring in other subjects. Then after that, the next thing you need to have is what we call a project activity plan. Now the project activity plan can be a table that specifies how you are doing your project. Take an example. I can maybe just show you here a sample that I can come up with a simple table. And now this table is going to have here your date. After the date, you are going to say activity. Now, after the activity, here you'll say, I can put the assignment, and then here I'll have teacher's signature. Yes, something like this. And now this activity, it is the one that a child keeps on taking in order for us to know what the child has been doing all along. All this is in the plan that maybe today is 20th of July. And then what activity? I went maybe, it was consultation from my teacher. And consultation, what assignment the teacher told me? Teacher, maybe after consultation and having a conversation with the teacher told me to go and maybe draw a logo that I will use for my product. And then the teacher will sign for you. Then another day, let me say maybe tomorrow, 21st, I went to the teacher with the logo. What was the activity? Logo approval. And after the logo approval, did the teacher give me an assignment? Yes, he told me, go and improve it. Then the teacher goes on and he signs. So you keep a track of how you are progressing, but with your mentor. Your teacher is your mentor in this project. So have those teachers to help you. So that is a project activity plan. Then, so this one are activities undertaken that I collected sugar canes. I went on, I collected the banana peelings. I had to dry them and the rest of that. So when the teacher comes here to mark you, because you have already seen the justification of the project. I think I have shown you what we call the justification. I think I showed you the sample of justification is here. The justification is here. Utilization of the sugarcane residues and banana peelings and the rest of that. So when the teacher comes, you will come and you will start marking theme, title, purpose. Yes, and the teacher will give you a 3. As the child being able to identify the resources, I showed you a table of resources required and the justification why you need them. Then the list was there and this was there. Then the teacher will come and he'll put for you a 2. Then activity plan. Activity plan contains all those things you are going to do in order for you to achieve your objectives, in order for you to achieve what you intend to get from the project. So the teacher will say, are they relevant project activities? Are there time frames, cost of the activities, and the rest of that? Then the teacher will be able to do. So activity plan, I've showed you. Then the plan, you are going to have here 2 things. The plan will contain the different time frame dates that you want to achieve everything. It can be even a week. You say week 1. In fact, you can develop it like this, that in week 1, maybe week 1, because this one requires planning. You can put a table where you have weeks, that week 1, that maybe is running from 21st to maybe 28th. Then which activity am I going to do? That here, I'm going to read. To review different literature, I'm going to identify my project and I take the photos. That is your activity. That is your plan. Then week two, you say, I'm going to consult the community. Week two may be running from this date to this date. I'm going to consult my village mates or my community members like teachers, students, and other people within the community. I'm going to write down, and maybe I'm going to type. Week three, I'm going to do this, this, and this. Week four, I'm going to do this, this, and this. So you plan well of the things you're going to do. Then the teacher will say, were they flowing logically? According that I started with identification, I went to the title, I went to the theme. So yes, then the teacher will be able to give you that here you deserve a 3. So then integration of the knowledge. I've showed you that is the English language there. Yes, that I wrote about a blog in literature. In English, they teach us how to write about reports. I wrote about report, and it is the same idea. Literature, I have a good poem that I'm going to use to advertise to the community members. Here you can even say, I'm going to shoot a video reciting a poem about the biomass briquettes that I'm coming up with. I'm going to do this and this, that I'm going to come up with shooting a video, I post it, and this and this. History, yes, is it there? Geography, is the idea there? Mathematics, yes. So all the subjects the teacher is going to be seeing will be awarding you. And to make it much beautiful, dear students, this is where you can have very many, let me call it them indicators. The more subjects you integrate, the better your project is. Because here you'll find yourself that if you integrate them, you'll have about 21 indicators. So have very many indicators. See how the different subjects can come into play for your particular project. In fact, that project has food and nutrition. Yes, food and nutrition, they study something concerning the waste. It has agriculture. So all these subjects can be integrated and bring out the different ideas from that particular project that can help out. Yes. Then when it comes to cross-cutting issues, all these ones are supposed to be in your report. Cross-cutting issues, then what are the environmental awareness are you coming up? Health awareness, then health awareness, you can tell them, it like even you can put it on your logo, on what you designed, that it is bad to cook from inside the rooms, or it is bad to cook or to cook inside a closed room. You need the fresh air. Yes, so you are making an awareness to the community about their health, about what you are coming up with. Is there patriotism in what you are doing? Does it show the love for your country? Yes, because you are going to use the words being used, you can even promote your country. So that is the first thing. Then when it comes to genetic skills, still here, the teacher, what you have to do, he has to be able to see that this child, does he plan? Now the plan, the teacher will look at your plan activity that you showed, that yes. Does he know how to sort and analyze the information? Yes, it depends on how you have. Has he been able to identify a problem? Yes. Then the teacher will say, at least I've seen those 3. Has he been, in case you have been able to come up with a solution, then the teacher will say, let me give you a 4. Then communication. This is where now you need to pay attention to, because communication is a key skill. Ask yourself, when the teacher gives you an assignment that go and do this, do you listen attentively and understand the information he has told you? That yes. Are you able to talk confidently? When you go back to your teacher to ask for feedback, do you show the confidence in what you are doing? Does the teacher see it? Yes. Can you be able to read? When the teacher tells you read this and this, are you able? How is your writing? Do you present your thing in a logic flow? Are you able to use a range of media to communicate? That can you be able to use, let me say you are on holiday and you are unable to complete your project. Are you able to send your teacher maybe a WhatsApp message, maybe an email and communicate? Can you be, in case the teacher is not in school, can you be able to write, to make a good write-up on a paper and maybe leave it on his table such that when he comes back, he can be able to read and give you feedback? So all those things, for the teacher will just say, under communication, I've noticed 4, the teacher will give you the indicator as 4. Creativity. Then the teacher will say, he's able to work, he's able to do this. Then the teacher will give you what you deserve for that particular one. So that is how the teachers are going to be able to assess you on the first part, what you call the project planning. So the teachers will be just coming and say, does he work effectively? Does he interact? And then they'll keep on putting, in case you deserve all, they'll be able to give you a 5, and they put the indicator that you deserve the 5. So that is the first part we call projecting. We call it the project planning. And for the senior 3s, that's what they are supposed to be doing this term. So this term, they're supposed to be doing the project planning and coming up with that. For senior 4, the assumption is they must have completed. But I know we know that maybe some have not yet finished, some are still struggling, some of them had little information about it, but we still have the time. That the time we have now, we can use it to come up with those different ideas, and then we do the needful. Now, when it comes to the second part, we call project implementation. Implementation now means doing, the actual doing of the project. For a full term, the child has been planning for senior 3. But now that one for senior 4s, we must now, as teachers, as schools, we must work now very quick to see that we do that one very fast, such that we go to the implementation. In case your school has not done, we go to the next phase and the next phase, such that our learners can be scored. Now, under implementation, because you gather resources for the project. For the first phase, we saw that during our planning for the activity, we got to know which resources we need, that we needed a biochar, we needed the residues, we needed this. So gather your resources. After gathering your resources, engage the different stakeholders. You may find yourself that you need this, and it is the teacher who can help you to buy it. Send the teacher to do so. In case that you need this, write the budget to the school to buy them for you. Come up with your product, and then lastly, come up with, then the last one will be assessing the generic skills. That is under the implementation. Then when it comes to reporting, I've already started showing you the different format. That under the report, you'll have the title, the introduction, the body, conclusion, and the rest of that. So you must, that is you know how to write a report format. That you must have the title. A case in point, let me first stop sharing a bit, and I show you how you are going to write your title, your title. I'm going to use one of the schools here. Allow me to use one of the schools. Allow me to use one of the schools allow me to use, and I show you how you can write that first page of your title such that you have something that is very good. Now so I think you can see I'm just zooming it a bit in such that it can appear on one screen. So this is how you can frame your title, that a project report on the production of biomass briquettes then you put your name, your student name, and now your neighbor has given you those student numbers and the rest of that. Feel free to put it there and then submit it to your school. Then you can write out your supervisor or the teacher that has been in charge of you, write out the time when you finished it, and then show the different things. So I write the first competence, I write like that. But this is just a sample, but you can come up with another format of your choice, depending on how you want it. So in case you want to be a bit more advanced, you can even do it like this. Now, this is another child that came up with, and for this child, you can notice that his report is very good. He has come up even with a table of content, showcasing everything he has been able to do within the project. So So, and you can easily note the different things he has been able to do. So it can be of it can be a good format, but make sure you come up with something much better. So that is about the project report. Then let me hope my screen is back. Then the next one, the last part is what we call the project dissemination. Now, the project dissemination involves you making a write-up, presenting your report to your teacher. It can even now, since you have to present in front of the audience, you come up with a simple PowerPoint. For schools, I know as schools, we may not be able to manage everything, but I know there is that one teacher that has a laptop in our school. There is that one teacher that has a smartphone. You can use that smartphone in case you don't have a smartphone as a child or as a school, as maybe your parent doesn't have. You can ask that teacher to help you. You type your PowerPoint on the phone, or you can use a laptop. A phone can do everything, many of the things the laptop can do. So you can type it using your teacher's phone or using the computer lab, because some schools have the computer labs. You can use it, but use the resources you have and such that you can be able to present. And here I request the schools that when the children are presenting, take small videos, take those videos when they're making their presentation, such that in case they ask for evidence whether children did this, when you have a backup that these children were able to do this. Then the last one is publishing your project report. Project report means you can put it under the school library. Now, like we have ICT teachers, can we open up a blog for a school? We have school websites. Can we have that part for students' projects? Let the ICT teacher, let the school publish it. It can be in the newspapers. In case it is a very good one, you can have it. It can be doing an exhibition. Your parents can be invited. Now, like for senior 3, we expect that in around the second term, all your parents are invited and they look at what you have done. Yes, they come at school, then you exhibit. You put your table there, exhibit what you have come up with. So that is what we call the last phase. We call the project dissemination. So when it comes to environment, let us keep on. It's not about take, make, waste. No, let us make, use, and recycle what we do have. I want to appeal to the candidates that what project work is one of those requirements that UNEB really needs in order for you to be graded. So anything you are doing, do it seriously. Don't take it for granted. Take it, give it a lot of your time, your attention, because it's going to appear on your certificate. So give it time, give it all the best you can, such that you can be assessed. I know there are other new things that may come up in the process, but we still have the time. The senior 4 candidates, we do still have the time. We can do something. We still have the time in these 3 weeks that are remaining, the 4 weeks before you sit maybe for your thing, you can do something much better for the betterment of your grades. So let us go that bit extra to see that we are able to come up with something much better. So look at what you have and then budget for your time very well. That now we have maybe 1 month to end the term. If you have not done anything, then sit down this weekend. I've given you some ideas, and I've mentioned about 20 projects in my presentation as I was talking that you can start with and then build up from there and then come up with something. It may be something else. It can be solar. It can be things in energy. It can be in recycling. It can be in coming up with chemicals. It can be coming up with good liquid soap. You have seen someone can make one of the things that you can come up with. It can be good soap. You have seen people. You can come up with those big things, small things that at least where you can apply the knowledge you have learned in school, because I know in chemistry you learn about saponification, so you can use that knowledge, come up with an organic soap that can help out in the different things. Remember, for senior 4, they are not limited to a particular thing. They can be able to do anything. as long as any project of their choice without following the theme, but anything, they can be able to do it at this moment because it was a bit late to them. So anything they do is allowed. So it is now up to you to choose what you want to do within a particular thing, within a particular field, such that you can come up with those different ideas. Now, allow me to end at this point, then inviting those who may have questions on what we have talked about. You are going to raise up the hand, but also allow me that we can use the chat to type in some of the questions. Hoping the chat is open. Let me just confirm whether the chat is open. We can use the chat to place in those questions. I want to first confirm whether the chat is really open. In case it is not open, oh, it's opening. Okay. In case it is not open, okay. Now I've opened up the chat. It's open. You can place your questions in the chat, and then I can be able. So let me start with God's Way High School. God's Way High School, kindly unmute. God's Way High School, unmute.
Yes, good morning, sir.
Good morning.
Good morning, sir.
Yes, good morning.
We're having 4 questions, so
Yes.
that we want to know whether we can do the project in video or in groups. The first question.
Okay.
The second question is, when does UNEB want the project to be submitted? And the third question is, how many learners that are supposed to participate in the project? And the last question is, are the projects make okay, the last question is, can you do the project individual and the report is supposed to be written in individually? And the last question is, and the project marks are we awarded by UNEB or they are awarded by teachers or forward to UNEB?
Okay, now let me start from there. One, senior 3 and senior 4s, in case you're in senior 4 and senior 3, you do an individual project. You do a personal project. So you are not supposed to do as a group. You do it as an individual, but it is okay for you to consult your friends, to share the idea with your friends, and then they guide you accordingly. That is okay. But you do it as an individual, because we have seen that you'll find that at times when it is in group work, some children don't contribute. But when you know you are doing it alone, you'll find yourself that you can be able to think critically, research, because you know that it is up to you. So, but in groups, most times you find that some children do not contribute at all. Number 2, about submit. So your teacher is the one who's going to assess you. Like we call them project supervisors. Then your teacher or the DOS at your school will submit the scores to UNEB. So the teachers are going to be honest with what they see at school, and then they submit. So like when you go to the UNEB portal, the AMIS, there is a provision where your teachers will fill in, and then after they submit those scores to UNEB, those indicators they have seen, then UNEB will be sending in some, let me say, some people to come and check out in the different schools. And even currently, I think you might have seen some officials coming to different schools to find out whether children are really doing something at schools. So UNEB will be sending some representatives at your respective schools to check out the actual thing and to check out whether the scores the teachers have given, they really match what the child is doing, and even whether what they have done is really there in those different schools. So UNEB will be sending scouts to check out. So, but it is an individual project. And when are we supposed to submit? According to according to UNEB, like they wanted that schools submit before this term ends, but the official communication will come in at a later time. But let us work to ensure that this term, we are ready with those things, such that when we go to third term, we don't have any other thing to stress us, but just to prepare for our final examination. So I would advise that do all what it takes to see that by the end of this term, you are done with your project and the different activities of integration. Yes, Joseph.
Yes, good morning, sir.
Yes, good morning to you.
So my question is, who writes the report, the learner or the teacher?
So the learner writes his report.
Okay, thank you.
Okay. Yes, since it is the learner who does, it is the learner who writes his personal report. Now for teachers, you can have that, the learner can write, I know there is some technology you can use, the learner can write in a very good handwriting. For schools that may not have the resources, the learner can write in a very good handwriting. The teacher, in case you are so helpful, you can help take pictures, convert those pictures into text, and the learner's report will be in soft copy. But we encourage that let us now embrace the ICT, that if we want to minimize paper, if we want to minimize wastage disposal, we must go ICT such that we reduce the use of paper. Yes, Mavara SS. Mavara SS. Okay, I failed to get Mavara SS. Tamale Ivan.
Good morning, sir.
Good morning to
you. Thank you for the presentation. It was really wonderful. Basically, my request is actually, it's not a question because I've got you right, but I wanted, if you can share that presentation with us, maybe on mail, and if probably because I chipped in a little late, if I can share the recording because I've seen you recording, is it okay?
Yes, it is okay. We have a WhatsApp group where we communicate. This recording is going to be shared, and we are going to share the presentation shortly after this.
Kindly share the number on the WhatsApp group such that I can ask for joining in.
Okay. I'm going to put it here in the chat.
Okay, thank you, please.
Okay, welcome. Okay. Okay, then I've sent that number in the chat. E-learning Center, hi.
Thank you very much indeed. My name is Gerard Okoth.
Yes.
Coordinator CBC, Center High Main Campus.
Yes.
I appreciate, thank you very much for your presentation. It was really top notch. Though I joined in late, my request is the same. However, my concern is one. In senior 4, I was a class teacher, I have close to 250 candidates. And as a boarding school, basically a boarding school, the children have decided to do what we call waste management, environment, waste management, and basically their raw material are the plastic waste and other waste in the compound. Now, I've listened to you keenly, and you said that they should do project individually. When will these learners collect the raw material, the material of this plastic waste, to come up with the individual? Some of them want to come up with the smart garden container, maybe disposal, trash bins. I kind of find it a little bit harder for them to collect all the bottle. What are the I was doing as their supervisor? I would put 10 or 20. I supervise them, and I was encouraging them to collect and do it as a group, but individually write the report. Then finally, when I assess them, asking them their contribution as individual for that project that have come out. Because back in the time we attended some training and they were telling us project can be individual or can be as a group. Please, I would like more elaboration on that. Thank you very much, Gerard Okoth.
Okay, thank you so much. Now for schools that have very big numbers, like I've said, maybe the solution I can maybe offer for now, one, if they can maybe diversify and maybe some can go into waste reduction, like you have said, others can be maybe go into resource, others can be maybe into carbon footprint. Like if you can try to work with them and like they divide accordingly, that not everyone concentrates on waste because we have other problems within the community. So if you can check out how you can have them divided into other things, because I know some can come up with water purification systems, others can come up with energy resource things, others can come up with this and the other. Because them concentrating on one, they may get a bit limited, because if it is only plastic, we may have those children that want to investigate things in energy. We may have those children that want their things to be maybe in ICT and the rest of that. So if you can work with them and then see that each of them like they have like a big pool where they can obtain the ideas, but not only to concentrate on maybe the plastics and only on the plastic things, but they can try out other alternative project ideas from other fields. Then for large learners, where maybe you are going to get the challenge, but also I'm going to advise that now for such, when you have large learners, what I did, because also our numbers are a bit big where I am, so I came up with a book, with a project book. And now in this book, I made a book of about 50 children. Each book, like I have 4 books having 50 children. Now in each of those books, each child has his own page. So what I do during those hours, what I do that I don't do the project supervision as an individual, but attach each 4 learners or 5 in your class, let me say 4 children, get for them what you maybe a project mentor. You say these 4 children are going to be done by maybe teacher Pius. The teacher Pius is going to work with these 4 children up to when they finish. These 4 children are going to work with maybe teacher Samuel. Those are 4 children. Teacher David is going to work with these 4 children, such that those children have that touch. But when you are an individual teacher making the observation for all, you may not be so efficient and the time may not allow you to complete everything. But if you attach just a few students per teacher, even these 4 children can work very well with this particular teacher. They say 4 children for this particular teacher, so that teacher helps out to manage those big numbers, that you work with your 4 children, and maybe you as the supervisor, you just keep on moving, asking the teachers, how far have you gone? How is the child? Like that even that time when they're doing, you can keep on the monitoring, because at the end of the day, we want a lot to see that child's competency. That child, because they can be in the group, but all of them, like we have said, they will not work. Others, they will just dodge. They will leave the work to one person whenever they work in groups. And even some, you may come up with the idea that many of them will not buy. And yet you have that your own creativity that you want to pull out. So I do believe, much as the number might be a big, but later, the first one, let us first try to divide them into smaller groups, that let each teacher, maybe like at your school, say we are 20 teachers teaching senior 4, or we are 20 teachers in school. Let each teacher get 4 children and work with those 4 children up to when they present everything. So you as the supervisor, you just move around in case that approach can work in your school. But in case it is hard and you are the only person, it's really going to be so demanding for you. It's going to be so demanding. Then for the other thing of group work, that one is always encouraged for senior 1 and senior 2, whereby we want them to learn the collaboration skills and the rest of that. But when it comes to senior 5 and senior 4, senior 3, since each individual's marks are scored independently, we advise that let us do it as an individual. Let it be an individual person per project. And if at all, but the ideas are many. The ideas are many. In fact, you can come up with more than maybe 50 ideas. Let them come up with very many, and then you can let those particular teachers that are working with them be able to help them out. That's what I can say about that. Then Mungufen Edwin. Edwin. Okay, I'm failing to get Edwin. Okay, Madu Sid SS.
Good morning, sir.
Good morning.
Is it accepted for the whole class to be with one project?
One project kills creativity. One project kills creativity. But if they have very many ideas, it can really help out a lot. One project will kill other people's creativity, innovations, because you'll find out that other children want to do something. But in case it is maybe in case of maybe funds and the resources, maybe as a school, you can ask the parents to make some contribution such that these children come up with the different ideas. Whenever the ideas, they may not be very many ideas, but maybe as a school, you may look at your plan and say that your projects you come up with, let them be within this field, within these 5 fields that you see as a school you can manage. In case you have land, they can come up with the land. They cannot come up with something within the agriculture field. In case is this, so they come up with something that is a bit related. But one project will kill the creativity of others.
But Mr. If I personally, I have a project that I have made research about, am I allowed to do it with the supervision of the class teacher?
If I beg your pardon?
If I have a project, me as person, without the entire class, and I have made research about it, am I allowed to do it with the supervision of my class teacher?
Yes, if you can work with your class teacher, they approve it, and then because the teachers have that far eye, so they can see that way they can help you to know whether it is really achievable, whether you'll be able to achieve it. But as long as you have come up with your thing, researched about it, and your school is ready to support you and your parents, it is very okay for you to go, as long as it is related to a particular theme and it has a relation with what you study in class.
Okay. Thank you, sir.
Okay. Amumpaire Enid.
Yes, thank you so much. Good morning, Mr. Kaziwa.
Good morning.
Yes, my question was, are we having the same thing for the senior threes? Then 2, if the senior threes make a project at this time, is it the one to be considered in senior 4 such that we shall not be expected to have another project from them? That's all I had. Thank you.
Okay. Yes. Now for senior threes, at this term they're only doing the planning phase. The next term, they'll go on and do the implementation. Then the other term of senior 3, they will do the reporting. Then term 2 of senior 4, they will be able to do the dissemination. So each term they are doing something. So this term only concentrate on planning, let them write their report and everything. Sorry, let them write their project plan report, and then you leave them at that point. Then next term, let them do that thing they planned for, let them have it. Then when it comes to term 1, let them make presentations, and then in the second term, you can go on and then publish them after you have thoroughly read through their reports. Then for the theme, at the moment, you can work with the environmental sustainability for all, unless UNEB comes up with something else. But at the moment, we are working with that theme. Okay. Mr. Akungiziwe Matthias. Okay. Malela Kabara said, can I integrate below 5 subjects when I'm integrating my project? Now, the more subjects you integrate, the more indicators you get or the more scores. So better you integrate as many subjects as you can. So that is the best. Is it allowed to? Yes, please. Malera, go on.
There are some subjects whereby you do like food and nutrition. You do a project which cannot take long. Like if you're making something like cakes, how can I mean, how will it be given a gestation period so that when the facilitators in the UNEB come, is it allowed to be there up to that time? Will it not rot? Or they will just take a photo for evidence?
Okay. Now, when you are making, we have said that don't zero down to one subject, that food and nutrition, that I'm making cakes. But ask yourself that many people are making cakes at the moment. What new innovations are you coming up with that are different from other cakes that are being made? Which problem are you solving with coming up with cakes? Because your solution should be a valid solution. That maybe what solution are you providing? Now, making cakes is more or less like an approach of learning in food and nutrition. So we call it project-based learning. So children making cakes is a way of making them learn more about about something within the thing. So it's like learning food and nutrition practical. So I wouldn't advise that children do that as a project. But that one I can.
What about you? So can you hear me?
Yes, please.
What about there are some projects, you do it is like a service. Like when you're designing a volleyball court, you're train people on skills on how to manage with volleyball. Is that also a project or it is just part of lesson?
Now that one is still teaching PE practically. Yes, that one now it's not yet a project, because at the end of the day, you keep asking yourself, shall we have the continuity? Which topics am I going to be integrated? Which environment? How will it be able to help other people in other societies, or is it localized to my own area? Anything that is localized within your own area is not a good project. But if it can be scaled that people within other areas can benefit, then it can be a good project. So now for that particular one, it is more or less like you are teaching people sports skills. So look for something that is going to look at people within your area. Ask yourself, which problems are they facing? What is that makes you angry? What is that is replacing you that you want to come or to get a solution to? Then look at the different subjects, because I've told that the more subjects you integrate, it means that the more scores the child will be able to get. Because where we have the subjects, we have more about 21 subjects. So how can they bring the different ideas together?
Yes. In entrepreneurship like me, I'm designing a questionnaire. For the trading center that is nearby us, we don't have questionnaires in those shops and those other enterprises. Is making a questionnaire a project, or it is just something? Let me know from you, sir.
Okay, still questionnaire is not yet a project, because questionnaire, you want to get people's feedback on the solutions to the problem. So find out from the questionnaire, what are their problems, such that you come up with a solution to what they are putting on the questionnaire. Because you getting the questions and giving them the question and they answer, you would not have solved the problem. But their opinions, what they write on the papers, that's why you need to come up with a solution for. So questionnaire is like a community engagement. You are trying to engage your community such that you bring, but now come up with the solution to the problems your community is facing.
Yes, sir. Now the last one is about those students who are trying to make what is it? The mineral block for animals. Is it a project, or we are now trying to improve on nutrition for animals?
Yes, now there you have a problem because now you have noticed, but now you need to package it in a way. What motivated them to come up with that mineral block? How different is it going to be from the mineral blocks that are on the ground? What low-cost materials are you using? Can someone in other areas apart from Kabara be able to make it? What do we need? Which food nutrients are there? Which other subjects are integrated? That there is math, there is in math, ratios, proportions, fractions, and the rest. In agriculture, you study about different minerals. In chemistry, so try to see other subjects being integrated. How different is it going to be? What will be the cost of it? And how helpful will it be to the animals? And why are they making it?
Thank you, sir.
Okay. Rogers Mutambo. Okay, I'm failing. Olianda Joseph. Olianda Joseph. Olianda Joseph. Olianda Joseph. Okay. Julius. Okay, Julius, I'm failing. Andrew Godcare. Okay, yes, Rogers.
Yeah, thank you very much. I would like to thank you for really trying to help us solve the problems that we are having in project teaching in our schools. Especially, I just wanted to thank you. You helped us really get information about running projects with big classes. Thank you very much. May you really, my request is to help us have these packages that you have for us come to us.
Okay,
thank you.
Mr. Rogers. I'm going to share them. After this, I will share them to the different WhatsApp groups such that you can be able to access them.
Yeah, thank you very much.
Thank you too. Yes, Olianda Joseph.
Yes, please. Good morning, sir. And
good morning.
Now I am inquiring, what should we do now, the current senior 4 class, since we had conducted the projects in groups? Secondly, what are we entering in the Enable portal? Are we entering indicators or we are entering the converted mark or score, which is 10? Then the third issue, we have a project checklist. How are we going to use it? Because we have a report, a reporting document, and the project checklist from UNEP. So when you mark the report and the checklist, which one are we going to consider?
Now, you are going to consider both. Now, what you do, assuming this is, hope you are seeing my checklist here.
Yes.
Now, assuming that these are your children, and this is the first thing, project planning. Now, from those checklists you have developed from the school, you are going to come here and start filling in the details for each child. So now take an example for this child, maybe Nyakato, fill in the scores he has got. In case here it is 2, you fill in 2. In case it is 3, you fill in. In case it is 1, you fill in. In case it is 2 for you, keep on filling. Then at the end of the day, you save all these scores for project what? Planning. Go on and fill for all the children, for all these children. Then after filling for these children, go to the next thing, project implementation. Fill everything. After that, go to the next thing, fill. After that, fill everything. Now, after filling all those 4 components, make your download that Excel sheet, submit it to UNEP. But these scores, you obtain them from that project checklist that you have been using. Like I've told you what I'm doing at the place where I am, that I have, for me, developed a book. And in that book, it has four children per book. So what I do, that every teacher has a mentee, as a child, 4 children is working with. So those teachers, they get, for me at the end of the term, I collect all these books, then I fill into the portal. So I just look at what they are. In fact, even I provided is like a summary sheet that I don't need to open every page the teachers have. After doing so, every teacher summarizes for me the data for those 4 children, that under identification, because exactly this summary sheet has everything I need. So here, in case I find 3, for me, I'll go, I put here 3, 2, 1, maybe 2, 3. So the teacher summarizes, and for me, I will just copy what I have exactly here on this summary sheet, I put in the portal. Even when I go to the next thing, I open those pages, I check out what the teachers filled, I submit. But I make sure that on the day when they're doing their projects, I keep monitoring, I keep checking on what the teachers are doing, such that we have varied results.
Yes, please. What about sir, the checklist, the UNEB checklist?
Yes, these are the UNEB checklists. Which one, for project?
There is a, yes, for project.
Okay, this is the one I've been showing you. It is this one you are seeing on the screen. So it is what the teachers feel, and then you, the person in charge, you collect. In case you have one teacher responsible for all children, those checklists are what? So what you can do, print them. Let each child be attached to one checklist and keep on monitoring the progress.
Yes. Okay, but about the issue of senior folks who are done group projects, what should be done? Because now time and rest.
Now, that one I may not want to commit myself on it, but maybe what you can do, according to personally, you can first have them write their individual reports.
Yes.
Let them have those different presentation, and if possible, they can come up with their personal products that are a bit different. Let me say, in case they made maybe something, can we see their creativity happening?
Yes, because we concluded, like for senior 4, we concluded, they came out with the products already. We are now, they finished writing individual reports.
Okay.
But
for
now,
that one,
again, you are saying that they're supposed to be individual, so.
Yes, because even like when the UNEB officials come, they may want to ask for those individual projects that the children did. So you can encourage that, let each child now come up with his own product, if possible.
Okay. Thank you very much.
Okay. Andrew God Cares. Andrew, okay, Andrew is not picking. I think Andrew is not picking. Sekamate, St. John Kabuko Chotera.
Okay, thank you very much, sir.
You're welcome.
Now, subject that does not take. I've said that can a student integrate the subject that he or she doesn't take, especially like those electives?
Yes, it is very okay, because in the real world, those children will interact with everything. So it is very fine.
Okay, thank you.
Okay. Andrew God Cares. Okay. Andrew Cares is not talking. Okay. Okay. I think I'm failing. Julius. Okay, I'm failing to get Julius. St. John Paul. Okay. Taiwa Rick. Now, people are asking, how will they check for plagiarism since there is a lot of copy and paste? Some schools have what we call plagiarism tests. So when you get that report and maybe you paste it in the internet, it can show you the percentage for plagiarism. So kindly discourage it, because if we are to train citizens that are going to help this country, we need to avoid the copy and paste. So as a teacher, as an administrator at the school, kindly discourage it as much as you can. Kindly, okay, yes.
Research may not generate a visible product, like say a briquette, but may generate a new idea, like a number of people with latrines to help a community. Will this kind of researches be accepted? And how are these projects going to contribute to the marks? Even is every subject supposed to have a project of its own? Oh, thank you so much, sir. I'm Mutebi Joshua from Pamela Christian High School.
Okay, like I think, like I have said, Julius, we are supposed to have one integrated project. One integrated project. Don't be specific to a particular subject. It is supposed to be one project that can contain all other subjects. So do not concentrate on one project, just one project, but which has ideas from different subjects. Number two, let's avoid looking for marks. Let us look at how helpful will this project be to the community where I stay, where I live. What is important is you coming up with a solution that is going to help, because it is that solution that you offer that is going to be able to help out the community, to make you different from another person. So it's not about the marks. It is about you providing a solution. So concentrate at coming up with a solution to the problem, but not looking at the marks. Then Techno, Chosen, Pabo, those people. When is the deadline for submitting for Senior 4? For Senior 4, let's do all what it takes to see that by the end of this term, we have everything ready. And maybe the person in charge can submit, because UNEP gave a deadline before they sit for their final exams.
Excuse me, sir.
Yes.
Yes, thank you very much for your wonderful presentation. I've seen they have shared with us the link to join the group, but the group is full. It is not accepting new members. I don't know if there's a remedy for that.
Okay. You will send me a message. Probably we shall create another group because at the moment, I think we have more than 7 groups and I think they are full. So we shall create another group later on in the afternoon.
Which number can we send that message to?
You can send me a message, but I'll respond later on. But I'll send you, yes. You'll send on that number. Okay. Okay. Then Chosen, was that Chosen? Okay. Yes. Okay. Sevaiga Edward.
Yes, I thank you, sir,
okay,
for your good presentation. Please do more light on the project of senior 1 and senior 2, because in our school, they told us that we were supposed to call out to projects, and yet we needed a theme. I don't know, how can I generate the theme for senior 1 and senior 2? Thank you.
Now, for senior 1 and 2, they are doing simple and routine projects. So the projects senior ones are doing is just to help them learn and master the content they are learning in class. In other words, I advise that we go in for what we call project-based learning, that give them a probing question, a driving question, and let them work with that question. For you just come up with the question, as long as that question you are coming up with can help them think critically and deep in understanding what you are teaching about. Take an example. You can ask them, how can number patterns and sequence be used in daily life? So you leave them to go and think about the uses of number patterns, how they can apply them, and the rest of that. In case maybe it is in agriculture, what are other uses of something or something like that? So for you, just come up with a probing question that can help them think deep, and then they go and they make their own research and then come and present. So in Senior 1, we are mainly doing something to help them reinforce the knowledge that they are learning in class. But as well, we are building a foundation of them learning how to write a report, how to plan, how to work in groups, and how to achieve the generic skills. So your concentration should be, how are they going to work together as a group to come up with a solution? Can they make a simple presentation as a group? Can they be able to write a simple report? So those are the things you look out for in Senior 1, just to help them to understand in your subject. So Senior 1, we are doing it for every subject that they do. For the 12 subjects, let them do. You can decide that in term 1, we shall have English, let English and math do. In term 2, let this subject and this subject do. In term 3, let these 2 subjects do. So like where I am, we find that in every term, we have 2 subjects that are doing those projects, those kind of projects, that they give children the probing questions, children go, they make their own research, where they come up with a product. After coming up with a product, they come and then present to the teachers and their fellow students. So Senior 1, concentrate on individual subjects. Concentrate, there is no particular theme. The theme comes in Senior 3.
Okay.
Okay.
So, and another thing, kindly share us with a group where we can get these presentations, because I've seen it's a good presentation, and maybe we need to share as teachers in our various schools. Thank you.
Okay. Yes, I'm going to share it shortly on the WhatsApp group and the recording, and you'll be able to access it.
Okay, sir.
Okay. Yes. Asimile Blaya. Asimile Blaya. Okay.
My name is Kamshag.
Yes.
My name is Kamshag Goodrak from Kai School, Van District, Kigezi region. My question is, what if you are in a school that does not have ICT materials? What can you do as a student?
Now, in case there is no ICT tools, like I've said, one, if you can get access to a simple phone, a simple phone, you can use that one. On those simple phones, you can take photos of your work and then convert those photos from images to text, and then you can organize your report. 2, those simple smartphones, they have what? They have a Word document. You can type your word from there. They have PowerPoint and everything. But also, I know that at least in every school, there is that one teacher that has maybe a laptop, that has a smartphone. So you can talk to your teacher and see how it can help out for now. But in case around your area, there is maybe an internet cafe, something, and you are in there, maybe you can be able to utilize that service. But now, in case there is no option, then make sure you write your report in a very good way, put it in your file, and let the schools collect them in those files. But it is very important for you to keep taking photos of each process that you keep on doing. Okay.
Okay, thank you, sir.
Okay. Then someone is asking, I think Teacher Samuel, how can these marks be entered? So I would advise that for the for the scores, when you are entering them into the system, have just one person do it. Let's not have very many teachers entering the marks, but if possible, you can do it in a department format, whereby you say science department, arts departments, language department, and let each of those departments have one person responsible for the marks that he can be the one to enter them, but not having every teacher go on and enter the marks. Because we have seen that for systems where everyone can put, at times we get challenges. So you can do it in a departmental form, have maybe 3 teachers from different departments responsible for entering those marks into, such that at least you know you are in something will not happen. Then does it mean we can like only 1 or 2 subjects have the project work, not saying every side to do S5? No, I've said for that current candidates, every candidate needs to have his personal project. And let them work upon having their individual project. Is it allowed to be in a group when doing a project? We say that one is advisable for senior 1 and senior 2. When you reach senior 3 and senior 4, we have what we call an individual project, much as you can sit in a group and each of one of you is doing his own project. But for consultation, you can do your consultation from your friends, from your teachers, from your parents, community members, and everyone. Yes, the presentation is going to be shared on the WhatsApp group. It's going to be shared on the WhatsApp group, and also it's going to be available on the YouTube for you to access. Research may not generate a visible product like say Briquette, but may generate new knowledge like number of people with latrines to help a community with this. No, that one, research questions or research responses are not projects. So you must come up with a product that can help the community. Now, in case it is latrines, find out which solution can you offer to help out with those people within that community. Kunguziwe Matthias, then.
Yeah, thank you so much, sir, for the beautiful presentation. I have this burning question. Like you find you are planning a project like in competence 1, project planning, and one learner gets sick, maybe, and maybe comes back after you are done with that competence. And for that reason, he or she is not assessed. What do we do about that? Or the learner is stubborn, because in every school there is that one learner who is stubborn, who is not going to participate, who is going to disturb you the whole term. So how are we going to, because at the end of the day, UNEB wants assessments. And as a school, we don't want our learners to fail. So what do we do in those 2 scenarios? Thank you, sir.
Okay, now one, for the learner that gets sick on the way, on the portal there is a provision, or whether the learner was absent or whether was present and the rest of that. So for that one, in case you finish to assess and maybe you are submitting, and for that particular thing maybe was absent or was sick, you can be able to comment like in that thing, because you'll see when you click, they can say suspended, absent, transferred, dropped, like that. So for that one, you can say maybe he was absent. However, always we advise that do not submit unless you are very sure of everything. So you may give him some time, but also keep in touch with the parents to see that no learner misses out on the opportunity. So you can try your best, unless try to engage, and also try to engage those children as much as you can, more so involving their parents to tell them. Then for these stubborn ones, for those stubborn children, kindly make sure you sensitize them, the first thing. In case they fail to get the sensitization, call in for their parents. Tell them what will happen in case something doesn't go on right. That in case the child misses this, he will not be. Yes. And maybe even you can attach them to a mentor, because I know those stubborn children, at times they may have that one teacher probably they love most in school, maybe they're a bit free with. So you can attach them to that teacher to get the results from him. But also keep on talking, because the young children, always it is advisable for us to keep talking, because you don't know the right time when what you are telling them will get stuck into their minds. So you can just keep talking them, encouraging them as much as you can. But in case things fail, kindly involving their parents and tell them what is going to happen. But in case everything you have said fails and you have tried all you can, then you just register him that he was absent for that particular thing. But also you warn them that if you don't have the project work, it means that you'd have wasted your 4 years at secondary, because UNEB cannot release your results, cannot release anything unless that particular one is involved. So that means that you'll have to wait for another year in case it doesn't have. So send strong warnings to them that if they take things unserious and they are playing around, then they are playing with their future. So as the school, you are doing your best, but in case they fail, then it means that they are playing with their own future and they'll pay for their consequences at a later time. I'm saying, okay, I want to pick out just a few hands, but those who have, okay, Jimmy, as I'm looking in the chat, are the project ideas limited to local literature or national? Not really. It can be international thing, because when you are doing projects, we look at diverse communities. So feel free to make your research in different areas, but most so, we want us to have our environments, our communities develop. So let the solution be a solution that is going to help your community and the communities, such that our country can be better than the way we found it. Gerard Barasa, Mavara SS. There are some people I unmute, but they are not unmuting.
Thank you.
Yes.
Thank you for the facilitation. I have some 2 questions. One is the report. I've seen that in most cases, the reports are in type. What if the learner presents a handwritten report? So we score that one. Then secondly, the current senior 3s, what is the theme for their project? Then there's another issue concerning report that at the project, most of these learners of ours, they did their project in groups, and they are not willing to go back to do individual projects. How best can we help those learners? Thank you.
Okay, I think the first question for those who did in groups, you can encourage them to come up with an individual product that they can showcase and an individual report. Then the other question, what was the other question? I didn't get it well. The theme for senior 3, at the moment we are working with environmental sustainability, a responsibility for all, unless UNEB comes up with another one. But that is the one that we have at hand now. Environmental sustainability, a responsibility for all. Okay. Okay. Another question?
Hello.
Yes.
Good morning, sir. Well done.
Thank you, Odanto.
One of mine is to appreciate and to request you some few stuffs here. I'm Rogers from Uganda Matters Vocational in Kawempe. I'm requesting you, sir, to share some of the procedures that a learner is going to take in projects, because our learners are green and some of the teachers, we may be green about all those procedures that one must undertake for one to have a complete project.
Okay. Now, the procedures one, let the learner first identify the problem is to work on. After identifying that problem is going to work on, let him think about the solution. Which solution can I offer to this particular problem? Mr. Ronald, hello?
Yes, please. So my request was, sir, to at least send those slides that we can use together with the learners.
Okay, sorry. Okay, I was saying, okay, don't go. I was saying that the first thing, let them first identify a problem. So as a teacher, you can come up with very many pictures because whenever you're moving around, come up with those pictures like I've showed you. Ask them to identify, to pick something that is replacing them. Take an example when you look at the screen. Ask them, give them those probing questions. Can we find solution to some of these things? What problems are you seeing in the pictures? Then you'll hear their view. This one, we can use it to do this. This one can be used, this can be used this. So let them first identify. Then you can give them a questionnaire. Ask them, what are those things that really make you angry? What are those things? What problem do you want to solve in the future? When you grow up, what is that? So first try to make them think deep, such that they can come up with different ideas. Then as a teacher, you sit down, you tell them, write down maybe 3 problems now. After writing those 3 problems, let us think about the solutions we can offer. Then now you as a teacher, you are going to help him to zero down to one that can be achieved. Look at all the 3 he has come up with, then let us zero down. Then let us zero down to one that you see can be achieved.
All right.
All right. Okay. But I'm going to share some more write-ups for such that we can learn a lot more.
Okay, thank you.
Okay. Gerard Balasa, Isaac, Camila, any of you can unmute.
Hello?
Yes.
This is Gerard Barasa. Yes, I would like to know when my teachers are trying to write these reports, and when they are writing, there's somewhere where they say you have to indicate where the subject, where the subject, where the problem is coming from, and then you have to indicate the theme where the project you are having, or chapter where the problem is coming from, and yet somewhere you said we have to integrate so many subjects. Does it mean that in our report we should not indicate the subject and the theme where the problem is coming from? Because how are you going to include all these subjects and you are telling us we have to integrate as many subjects as possible?
Now,
that's the one. Then you two would like to know the WhatsApp group or your YouTube address where we can get this information from.
Okay. Now, for the theme, we can later, we are supposed to write. When you looked at my report, the report I showed you, you would have noticed that the theme is on the first page. This is the theme. So the theme is supposed to be there. Then for the subjects, there is no provision of showing. The only thing that is there is for you to show the integration of different subjects. How are other subjects coming into play in the project you chose? Which topics within those subjects are relating to your project? How are they integrated? How are they related? How is the chemistry coming in? How is the physics? Meaning that now here is where the teacher can help the child with the syllabus book where the child needs to look into the topics covered within the particular subject, and then it relates to the different to the different subjects. So that's where we need to integrate in the subjects. So let the child or the teacher help out to look out for which topics are related to that particular project the child is doing. Which particular topics within that subject are related to it? Is it carbon? Is it fuel? Following the syllabus. So that is what is very important. But for the theme, we are including it on the report to show what we are doing, such that someone reading it can be able to see. And these reports are written by students, but not the teachers. The work for the teachers is just to check through what the children have done. And for them, they come and then they start scoring. They start scoring basing on the theme the child has written and basing on the title. But for the senior 4, since we don't have any specific theme, for them, you will find some schools have said, let us work with the environment, a sustainability for all. Others, they may come up with maybe another theme. But for senior 4, it is okay. It is only senior 3s that now you must be streamlined within the particular theme that has been developed. So we are looking at if every person, if the country comes up with different solutions from different schools, it means we would have done something much compared to when we do different themes. But for themes, let us include them on our reports and let us go on and show how different subjects and different topics within those subjects relate to our projects. Then let me now first answer some questions in the chat. What do you say about learners who do projects during holidays in the community and at home? That one we do not advise, because some learners just go to the communities, they get someone to do for them, and then they come back to present. Please, a supervisor or a teacher must see that learner doing. At the end of the day, we want the psychomotor domain of that particular learner to be developed. So if the learner goes on and he does it at home, there is no supervision. And even our parents, at times, they don't have the integrity. So you don't know whether the project has been done by the learner or by someone else. So let them do them at school. Let them, in case they want to buy materials, let them buy the materials from home, bring everything at school, and they do them at school, but not from home. What is the implication of the new law on the A-level combination starting next year? Now, that one I will not comment on it, but what I want to just assure you that it is in the process. It is in the process, but that information is a bit reserved, but just be assured that these learners will progress smoothly with the, I don't want to say abridged curriculum, but we shall have a transformed curriculum for A-level. Individuals project work is challenged for large, especially supervision and resources. This is the reality on the ground. Yeah, that is the reality on the ground. But I've said, even as where we are, we have very large numbers. But if you can sit as teachers within the school, and the school administrator maybe emphasizes it that every teacher is to work with 4 children or 5 children. I know in schools, even if you are 500 or 200 children, if every teacher works with 5 children, and monitors those children up to when they complete, this work can be done. But if you are to work as one teacher on all, then it will be a bit hard. But also to be realistic, let the schools look at, let all those teachers step out what the children need. Let us involve the community, the parents, to tell them that the child is going to do this. Let's offer support. So let the parents offer support to the school, but let us also look for those local resources, things we can do within our means. Let us not look for some things that are very big that we cannot be able to do. Our vocational subjects like art are now presenting their lesson products work as projects. Is it okay? Not really. Those are not projects. What the arts are doing are those subjects. Those are what we call doing something practically, studying the subject practically. But those are not projects, because we must have that continuity. The child must be able to learn from it. It must be something solving the society problem. There must be continuity. At the end of the day, can it be scaled up? Can that learner scale it up and come up with something much bigger? What is the theme for project this year? For senior 3, we are currently working with environmental sustainability, but also the senior 4s can take up that theme. But also in case they had done something earlier on, let them continue with anything they had done, but let us make it much better. Write good reports and then continue. Okay, I think Mr. Akungibiziwe, I was able to answer you. Are we supposed to record scores for senior 1 projects also? Yes, record those scores in the school database, keep them there such that in case someone comes up, in case of any challenge, we can have. But also our stakeholders, their parents, need to know what are the children doing at school, which new innovative ideas are they coming up with, so those scores can appear in the children's reports. Which YouTube site? We call it Holistic E-Learning Platform. Okay. 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 I'm just going through. Do we need to register senior 3s? Yes. Senior 3s, schools have started to register them. Like I showed you, now for this particular school, all these are senior 3s. You can check that these are senior 3s that are being registered. So kindly register all your senior 3s. And this term, we expect that everyone has entered the project planning phase. Next term, the project implementation will also be ready to be inserted in. So it is already there. It is only the others of term dissemination that are not yet active. But planning and implementation are ready. Please register your senior fees for this year already in the system. They are supposed to start on their project work. And we expect that by the end of this term, you have been able to submit. How are we going to assess projects? I've said that for projects, we shall need those project observation checklists, but let us divide the workload to let every teacher have a few students to work with, and maybe let them be like their mentors, such that we can be able to work together. Which means for the current senior, Elana is going to one of his, But yes, for senior 4s, Elana can write a report on any project that he did, as long as it is his best. Let them choose their best project and they write a report about it. For this year's Cadence, we don't have a particular theme. Anything they come up with, as long as it was one of the projects they did, let them write a report, let them have their product, and let them go on and make a presentation to the school environment for them to be assessed. What are the resources being wasted in the environment that can be used to make a model of sodium chloride? Is the origins of the school or origin of the school a project? Not really. It's not a project. It's not a project. That one is a project-based, is a methodology of teaching. When you are teaching history about the past, you can tell the children, can you research about the history of this school, the origin of this school? Then the children can go and make research. So those are what we call the simple routine projects. So let them go make research about the school, and then they can come up with different ideas, which you can document and put in the school offices. What of using different color bottle tops? Let's say blue top to represent sodium and red to represent chlorine. That one says not a project. That one is a model. We call it an artifact that can help the children learn more about sodium chloride and other elements within the periodic table. So that one is not a project. It's just an artifact to help the children know the different elements, because at the end of the day, how is it helping the society? How are the people around? How is your relative, other people within the community can use the sodium for? So what is important? What can sodium be used for? I think you have not emphasized how to come up with it. I have shown you a sample report. Loyola College, I have shown you the sample report and everything you need in the report. But maybe I can share again the screen having the report. No. Now, for models, especially in physics, kindly, a model is not a project. It's not, because at the end of the day, those models you are coming up with are not going to be functioning. We want a working model. In case you have decided to come up with a solar panel, is it working? Because at the end of the day, we have seen very many universities that come up with models, but children just leave them there and they cannot go on with the idea. So we want something that can work that in the future, the child just needs to scale it up, that even when he goes back in holiday, he scales it up and it becomes something much bigger. Now, recap, there are challenges of uploading the project. Shed light, please. Uploading the project, that one comes whenever you put a score that maybe is much bigger than what you are supposed to put. But I think that one you need to show me such that I can see what exactly you mean. Is making a liquid soap not a project since it depends on some already marked, such as by... Now, when you are making some, like now take an example for liquid soap, it depends on how you are making it. It can be a good project given that children use locally available materials. Take an example. Instead of me going on to use a salt, sodium chloride, as my salt in the liquid soap, I can say I'm going to use ash. I'm going to go on and use ash, and I use, we call them chisula. I can use those ones to come up with that sodium chloride, because you know that many of these salts that we use, at times they keep on burning. So I can go on and use locally available materials, and I come up with the good liquid soap that doesn't involve use of very many chemicals, but when I'm using locally available materials. I see that teachers may not really come in to help learners because the integrated, or one will, I think, should be the other. What advice can? Yes. The advice I've given that let the school administrators sit and let them attach few learners per teacher, and let the teachers work with those few learners to come up with a project for a full year. Let them run. Let's say that these 4 teachers are attached to Teacher Stephen. So those 4 learners will work with Teacher Stephen up to when they complete. And for you as the school, you ask that particular teacher, we want the marks for this. Let the teacher work. But if you leave it to one teacher, that teacher is going to be overwhelmed and it will not be effective. How do we score the project? I've said that scoring the project, we use the project checklist. And this one is like an observation of what the teacher says. But for each step that the learner takes, let the teacher come. Let's take an example. This is the second one, implementation. So as the teacher, you come and ask yourself, for the first item, the child gathers resources for the project. Then you come ask yourself, the learner gathers resources for the project. Has the learner borrowed some items? Yes. That he has gone to the lab, he has requested the lab technician to help him with a scissor. Yes. Is there an exchange of material? Yes. That he has exchanged this material with a friend. Does it involve buying some resources? That yes, that the learner needed these materials and he went and he bought some materials. Was there some fundraising for the materials? That may be not read, you didn't see it. Was there some improvising? Yes, that instead of using a thread, the learner went and used maybe a banana fiber. So that is improvisation. Then you say, how many indicators do we have? 1, 2, 3, 4. And then you come here, write 4 indicators. So that's how we score. But now this one for senior 3s, we expect it to be in term 3. That's when. But for senior 4, everything can be done this term since they're already time bound. I'm answering questions in the chat. At St. Cyprian High School, I was in UNEB seminar for projects, and the first said that the theme for this is not yet out, which was just a sample theme. Yes, like I've said that unless UNEB comes up with another theme, but we don't have to wait for it up to when it comes. Let us first work with what is available, such that even if there are changes, we have somewhere to start with. But if you wait for them to but if you wait and if you keep on waiting, it may delay, and you have nothing to work with. The term is already ending. So let's first work with what is available. Anything that will come out is going to be rotating. Even if we get something new, it is going to be rotating in the same areas. In case a student have the same weather, is it a problem since the post is different? Students may have they may have the same ideas, but they may come up with different products and different reports. Now, what if I design a website or post that insights on the theme as my project? Now, as long as what you are designing, I said, now when you design a website, I advise that let it be a working website, not things of you just putting something that is locally based at your school that only Namgong can access it. Let it be something that can work such that members outside can access, that in case that you are sensitizing, show us your community engagement, that we went to the community, we sensitize them about this, and this and this and this. So let it be something working. Launch it such that everyone can be able to access it. But if something locally available to only Namgongo people, that someone in your computer lab can only access, then it means not. But do not forget that during the uploading it, you need also to pay some fee such that it can be, you need the host rights and the rest of that. So if it is something that is going to work, where you are going to be posting those sensitization messages, where you are going to be involving the community to get their own opinions and the rest, it cannot be a bad thing. Is there any official project report format from UNEB? Now, for official project report, please here, this is where the creativity comes in. As a school, we just need to know what shall we supposed to have from the report. That report that you are coming up with, let it have all those different components that you see that UNEB needs, such that the learners can be able to follow it through. Do we the senior also need to have all the projects in every? No, I've said, Daniel, we don't need an individual project. We need just one project that integrates all other subjects. In case you are done in all subjects, zero down to one project, and then use that project as your source. As the senior 4 can different learners have different themes? Yes. Chiza Alex, different learners can have different themes for the senior 4, but for senior 3, let us be uniform. Okay, the presentation is going to be shared. Is it possible? Yes, Mr. Kalonji, it is very possible. You can extract that Excel sheet from Excel, or what you do, you can extract that Excel sheet as you are going to be like submitting, and then you'll be able to access it. It can be extracted for those children. You can just extract that Excel sheet, and then you download it and have it on your PC. And then remember, UNEB even will give you a report of those learners that you have been able to submit their marks for and the details you have been able to enter. Is it possible for the current senior? Okay. Senior in groups and write the reports individually. We advise let them have an individual project, because even when they go back at home, there will be continuity. But here in a group, some of them keep on dodging. Isn't a candidate supposed to do only one project? Yes, it is supposed to be one project that integrates all other subjects. Shall the checklist for project planning for senior 3 be submitted this term? Yes. Senior 3, they must have their planning ready by the end of this term. In case a student have the same project with other, is it a problem since report is ready? If in cases have the same project, if the reports are different, we encourage that let them have different projects, such that in case they are exhibiting, everyone comes up with his own project. Okay, can you share a sample of completed report that you have been showing on your screen? Yes, we are going to share a sample of that report. May you please share the sample? Yes. What if I don't do all the what if we don't do all the project? Now, in case your school doesn't do all the projects, the marks for those children will not come back in February when the exams are released. So your school will not get unless the children have done the projects. For members who join late, is there a way to access these adjustments? Yes, they are going to be shared on the different WhatsApp groups. What is the maximum score per step in the competences? Now that one, we don't have a particular one. It depends on the competence. So some competence, you'll find them taking about 30 indicators. Others will be taking, so there is no maximum or minimum. Each competence will have different, score items. So it's not that this one is 20, 30, or 20. No, it depends on the competence, and each competence has. But I would advise that make sure that per each competence, you don't score for competences that have about 5. Let us for competences that have 5, let's have at least a minimum of 3. For competences that have 3, at least make sure you score 50% of that particular thing. But make sure you score at least 50% per level on the given competency. Yes, everything is going to be shared. But isn't using bottle top solving environmental pollution? Yes, I gave you an example of that someone is making doormats using those things. So it is a very good thing. It's not bad. Yes. What should be done? That is craft. What about craft sandal, please? What are you using to make those craft sandals is the thing. Are you using tires? If you are using tires, then that one can be okay, because we have seen tires being thrown. So that is, you are turning the waste into craft. That is a good thing. Waste into craft. What should be done to those who did their project in groups? That one I think I've answered. Are we all allowed to sell our project finished goods? Yes, that one is very okay, but you must keep one at school as you come up with others. Yes, that one is okay. That is the continuity we want. That you don't only stop at making them, but also you earn from them. But you must reserve one that can be used for other studied purposes. Joined quite late, but this contact... let me hope the videos... Yes, does the student need to include a list of references? Yes, that one we encourage, because we are training future researchers. In case the student has obtained information from somewhere, he can quote where he obtained the information and include some references of the books the child read. Because in research, we always reference where we have got the information and where we have read. And I know some schools have the plagiarism test. They can easily put that information and see where the child copied and pasted the information from. At our school, we have covered latrine coverage in our community as the project, but it's not having any visible product research. Now, like for such, in case it is coming, you are doing things with latrine, because you know that those latrines at times smell. Can you come up with a product that can reduce the smell from the latrine? Because even when you cover, remember they'll keep on releasing the gases and the gases. Can we do something to see how our communities can benefit more? Because that one is more or less like charity work, what you did. So when you do latrine coverage, that is charity work in CRE. How can you write a report basing on a project? I think I've shown you those who came in late. I think those are the people asking. I've shown you that when you're writing your report, make it in phases. Project planning, go to implementation, go to dissemination, and then include everything you have carried out. That now here I was presenting, and here include all those photos. So you'll find that your report may have about 20 to 30 pages, even more. How can you write a report? Okay. Are flyers, magazines, B projects? No. Endeavor SS, flyers, brochures, magazine, and certificates, B projects? No. Those ones are just features that you can include in your projects, that you can develop a flyer having your products you have come up with to share with the community, thereby including ICT. So you are integrating ICT in your project. Is it allowed for students to buy some of the materials for their projects? Yes, because whenever you use your own money, you attach a lot of value to it. So when students buy using their pocket money, you'll find that they have attached a lot of value to what they are doing. So they end up not wasting a lot. Please review the report. I've said the report. I'm scrolling it on the screen. The first thing, it will look like that, what I'm scrolling on the screen. When will UNEB tool exam who are going to assess this exam this year? That one is out of this coverage. Do you mean that the one subject project then will cater for all the sub? I've said that one project that the child has come up with, kindly look out for other subjects, how other subjects come into play. If Daniel, you can just share with me that project, I can show you how other subjects can come into play. Don't concentrate on one project. Yes, everything is going to be shared. Yes, how will you get them? We are going to share to the different WhatsApp groups, and then those different WhatsApp groups, they will be able to reach out to you. Yes, now when the learner does a project in one subject, that one we have said that the learner, when it comes to integration of other subjects, he will be getting 1 score out of the 21 because there will be no integration of other subjects. So here the learner will only get 1 score. And if you get 1 score, it means that your percentage is lowered. So we don't want your percentage be lowered under the project. So have as many subjects as you can for safety reasons and for you to be scored highly. I'm still answering the questions in the chat. How do you edit the scores entered in the UNEB system? How do you edit? Now, in case maybe you have entered something and maybe, let me say here, you can just delete it. Delete it. But I advise that be careful. That's why we say that when you are entering these results, be very careful such that you do not make mistakes. You can remove it and edit unless when you are finished to submit. When you finish to submit to UNEB, that one, it is very hard for you to delete it. Yes, but in case it is still within your localized system, the AMIS, that one is very okay. You can be able to delete. May you repeat your WhatsApp number again? Okay, please share a sample report. A sample report I'm going to share. Is it that your product should be something new out of creative or making something advanced out of the raw material in society? Yes, now Stella Maris, anything we are doing has ever been done. There are very few things that have not been done. But now here, what we need to do is how can that product you have come up with help your society? How can it help you to solve a society problem? So in case you have come up with something very new, that one is very okay. But in case you have made an advanced model, an advanced product from something that has been existing, that is also very good. So it can be something very new or something advanced from what has been existing. Yes, as long as you are using locally available materials or you are using things we have within our community that can help to solve a society problem. Please elaborate more on literature review of project. Now, literature review will involve the child reading out different materials from different sources. Take an example, a child is coming to make up, to use maybe plastics, to use what and what. Let her read very many other sources. Let the person go and ask the community members. Let the person make research. So consult this book. Let him consult the internet, the newspapers, other things. What have people been talking about? That maybe what has this person talked about? What has the head teacher talked about? So that is now the literature review. Reading about other things such that the child can have information regarding what he wants to come up with. Is a signpost design making also? No, signpost is not a project because that one is only to your society. It's only benefiting your society, not all other society. Unless when what you are doing, you are making the signpost for is something using local available materials that other communities can copy the idea from in order for them to reduce maybe waste. If I start any money earning business, consider no money earning business. When you come up with a business, that one is not also a project. That is an entrepreneurial venture that you are dealing with. So we are not looking at entrepreneurial venture. But if what you have made, what you have come up with is solving a society problem, you can sell it to your community, to your school, and then earn from it. But not starting a business unless what you are starting is from what you have made that is making you earn. Given that you ask permission from your school, that the head teacher, that let me say the group has come up with a unique soap. Maybe you have come up with dome mats. You have come up with chalk products. You have come up with unique pens or what that the school can keep on using the available materials. Then that one can be. What if I don't include the pictures in my project? Will my report be accepted? Please, we advise that include as many pictures as you can, such that you have evidence. How will someone know that you are the one who has done something? We may assume that you just copied it from somewhere, but that is part of evidence that you are the one who has done that particular item. Is the video going to be shared? Yes, it's going to be shared on YouTube and a holistic e-learning platform. After saving the scores, you can now edit them. Try to enter score, save, and then edit. It won't accept. I've tried it several times. Oh, now for that one, oh, you are saying after you have done that. Okay, now after saving, in case you have made such an error, what you can do, you can edit that data from the Excel sheet that you are going to export. Yes, from the Excel sheet that you are going to export. That's how you can do it. Yes, but you can still edit. Yes, because I think it is Revit Regency. You can still edit that score, because take an example. I think I can try it here and you see. Take an example. When I enter here 4, I can save that score. So they will say data saved successfully. But in case I want to edit, I'll come, I click on it, I remove it, I put what I want, and then I save again. The data will be saved. So it can save or unsave. So there is no problem, because you can see that when I put this 5, I can save, the data is being saved successfully, but I can also edit in case of an improvement. I put the new data and then I save, it will save again. So please, it can really do the saving again, not as you may claim. Okay, hope Revit, that one is answered. Share one project and show how it can be integrated. I think I've done that in this session. I used the one of production of biomass briquettes, and I showed you how about 12 subjects can be integrated. Just look at my screen. I can run and see how I've been able to integrate the different subjects. What about students who made briquettes? Is that a project or plan? Is that a briquettes? Bricks. I think you are meaning bricks. That one I've not got it well, Joseph. Planting trees is not a project, though it is an environmental thing, unless when you are going to do it on a very large scale and everyone in the community. What is the total mark for project to be submitted? What about activity? Yes. Now, today I'm only talking about project. Next time when I come, I can talk about activities of integration and then the subject achievements. What if a school doesn't offer other side? Will they still be considered? Yes, that is okay. For you, integrate as many subjects, because when you go to eat food, you involve it. When you are chewing food, that is mathematics. And you find that some children at A level don't do math. When you are eating food, that is food and nutrition. Chemistry is taking place. So in the real world, we interact with all subjects. So it doesn't matter whether you do it or not. For you, integrate as many subjects as you can. Yes, for projects, please, I've explained about the pictures. Let us integrate, put the pictures such that you have evidence. We have 125 learners and different groups. The learner designed 27 talking compounds. Is that okay? That one, Gladys, have not got that thing very well. Design 27 talking compounds. I've not yet obtained. Will the project work and the OI be part of the final 80%? Or will you have their own? Now, the proposal, quote me well, I've said the proposal is that the project will appear independently on your certificate. The project will appear independently on your certificate. Yes, is it a must write the title? Like when you are, those people who have written projects, and in projects, always we have a title page, and we have a title page, we have the table of contents and the rest. So we are training you for the future. Yes, it's not about passing exams, but it's training you to do the right thing. How can I integrate other skills in the market survey project for bakery, for example? Now here, the entrepreneurship teachers, can be of good help. But other skills is that we have the communication skills. You can learn how to ask, because communication alone has about 13 skill steps that you can look at. So look at how you're going to collaborate with the environment, with the people you find, how you ask questions, how you talk to them, how you make your own research. All those ones are skills. The senior 1 and senior 2 are not to be submitted to UNEB. Those ones are to be kept at school level. But in case of anything, they can be of great help. So Teacher Mike, those ones, keep them in the school model. You say the model cannot be a play, but supposing it is a communication means and solving ego. Now, a model we have said the model is an artifact that displays how something looks like, or how yes, that one cannot solve something. So when for you come up with a house, that one is a model. But how important is that house? Someone who has built a chicken house using bottles, that one can be considered as a project. But you coming up with a model, and it's not working, let it be something working. So just a message is part of the project that you are going to do. That after designing something, you come up with that particular thing, and then you can be able to share it with the community. Is it required to write the risks and mitigations? Yes, that is awareness in projects. That is environmental awareness in projects. So you include it in your report. About yogurt making, because I'm going to use commercial bacteria, but the rest will be local means in the process. Okay. Now that one, find out which problem are you solving. Now, in case you are in senior 3, ask yourself, when you make yogurt, is there any problem you are solving in your community? Then ask yourself, is it a value addition? How is it related to environment? Would UNEB favor the current senior 4 supposed are not done? Please do not look at assumptions. Do not work with assumptions. Do what you are supposed to do in the available time. Let us work with what we have. The time is still there and we can do something. Let's not work with assumption that maybe in case UNEB does this, UNEB will not favor anyone, but let us work with the available time. Are we aware AI will contribute and find totaling? So which score will then be awarded to project? Please, Edgar, do not use what you hear the public say. So no one has ever told you, or no one has come out to say that it is 20% from AOIs. No, it's not true. The only thing you need to know that formative assessment will contribute 20%. So formative assessment contains the activities of integration, contains the projects, and also contains the observation checklist. So it has all those 3 components. So please do not concentrate and set is AOI. But I've told you that already one of the proposals on board is to have project be independent on the certificate. Which kind of report? Namgongo, we have said electronic reports are much better because we want to minimize wastes. So electronics are better. The teachers can only print out the manual to check through your work and to make it much better. How about ceramic work, like usable cups out of cake? Can it qualify as a project? Ceramic work, you are limiting yourself a lot to art, but you can add on more and it can qualify to be up. If you can add on more other things to make it much better and see how you can be able to utilize the underutilized resources within the community. When is the deadline for senior 4 projects? For senior 4 projects, the deadline for submitting is before UNEB. So make sure before October, I think it's around September, make sure you have submitted everything your children within your school need. I meant charcoal briquettes. Yes, briquettes can be as long as you add on the creativity on them. Can talking environment be? Not just talking is not a project. Talking about it is not a project. Go further. That is like awareness. But what do you want the community to do is what is making it more important. Part of making radio transmitters, now ask yourself that when you make a radio transmitter, is it working? Let it not be just a model. It should be a talking model. Let it be working something, not something that does not work or not an artifact. I have a student that made Hubble for Flanco. Is it also a project? Yes, Rosette, that one can be a good project as long as the child goes on to package it very well. Let him add labels, but as a teacher, help that child to go to UNBA, to Uganda Bureau of Medicine, and then they check out whether everything the child did is okay, but also let us test whether it really works. But also let us see how other subjects are integrated before we administer it to our learners. Is shooting a video? Not really, it's not. Daniel, it's not a project. Is drip irrigation also a project? As long as it's something working. Yeah, let it be something working, not something remaining in pictures. What if I do my own project? I think I'm stopping in 5 minutes to answer any question. What if I do my own project, then I present to the teacher? Is it acceptable? The answer is the teachers must be able to monitor what you are doing. So don't do it from somewhere and just show the teacher the final product. Work with the teacher on every step you are taking, such that the teacher knows that you are consulting. Otherwise, you'll miss out the marks for consultation with the community. A sample of the title of the project. I think I've given you some samples, but let me display my screen of some of the samples of a project title. So those on my screen, you can see some. How about when you just saying, if any error I want to correct, for example, if I register a learner, I say, and then I want to change agriculture and also delete and okay, I think we shall have a session more so on those things of registration, and then I show you what you can do. But in case it's still localized, you can still make those changes. What you do, delete that learner completely from the system, delete everything, every detail of the learner, delete the learner from the system, and then register him afresh. Yes, but also caution your learners that when they reach senior 3, term 2, and term 2, let them not make any further changes in the subjects they selected. Because in case they have not been that subject, it is you, the subject teacher, that is going to be working twice in order to see that the child gets something. I repeat, Rosette, we have said a child is supposed to do one project that integrates all other subjects, not to do a project per subject. Is making flowers out of bottles a project? Yes, that one can be a good thing because you are minimizing usage of bottles in the community. You are adding value, but make it more colorful, not just coming up. How do I know that yes, how do you know that your project covers very many subjects? Look in the different topics you have learned as a child, check out which topic relates to that particular thing you have come up with, and then relate it to the subjects. Making a wooden calculator to call out mathematical operations that can, and is it, as long as your calculator you are making is working, but not just something that doesn't really work. But ask yourself, in case something is wooden, which problem are you solving? One, you are going to cut down more trees in order for you to come up with the wood. Number two, how is it really portable? Is it offering a solution? Are people suffering with mathematical operations? Someone from Mulatis, some children made a podium. Yes, that one is okay. Mr. Martin, Teacher Martin is making pads a project. Yes, Chisana SS, it is a good, as long as you are making reusable pads. As long as you are making reusable sanitary towels, it can be a good project. I think I have some students who did it, making those reusable pads such that we avoid the ones that can be not disposed of. Making a book, no. Is it true that UNEB requires only checking for one term? I mean senior 4. That is not true, because when you check the AMIS, you can notice that they need everything from senior 3 to senior 4 term 2. So Kauka Salim, everything from senior 3 to senior 3 term 4 is required. Is planting trees the project? Kindly not. That one is a conservation approach, but it's not something that is going to solve a community problem in other. Is making toilet disinfectant a project? Yes, that one can be very good. And so I think I've answered very many questions. green roof gardening for drought-resistant plants is actually a physical sign improvement, so it can be. Yeah, that one is okay, Agatha. Okay. Edgar, please, I've said it is a proposal. I've said it is a proposal and there is always a percentage that is being attached to it. So it is a proposal and there is always a percentage being attached to it. Yes, so all the scores are teacher-based, are from the school. We are testing for teachers' integrity and your school's integrity. So any product that comes out from your school, when you as the teacher or as a person in charge is just is something fabricated, you are doing a disservice to the country. So please make sure you are honest with anything you are doing. Yes, because these are long life skills that will help these children. It's not about marks. Let's stop looking at the marks as the end product. At the end of the day, these marks are just to get them to the job places. But after that, the skills that these children acquire is what is important for this country. It is not the marks that are important, but the skills that these children are able to attain, that they are able to use, is what is going to be important to the learners, because are those skills that these children learn that help them to build our communities, to make them much better. So if the child learns something, we shall have something much better. Okay, St. Francis have failed to get what we call a talking compound. Mosquito traps, that one can be okay. I think yes, Joseph, I've showed you that you can make changes, because what I've been using, I've showed that those are senior 3 students and I've been able to make changes. So Joseph, you can make the changes unless your software is not updated. In case you don't have an updated software, kindly look at around the neighboring school, update the software you have, because you never provided another software some few months back. So you can use that updated software to see where your system is not doing the changes. Is making school calendar? No, school calendar is not a project. Yes, now Teacher Mike, for documentation, that is simple and routine project. That one is good for senior 1 and senior 2s. Okay, I think, yes, like I've told you, we don't have particular projects that this is a math project, this is a chemistry project. Let it be one project that integrates all other things. Mosquito traps can be good for the communities as long as you are going to share their ideas. Periscopes, not really. Those are for senior 1. So St. Catherine, that periscope, do it for senior 1. Medical form, that is senior 1. Those are simple and routine. In A level, shall we do projects again? If I wish you do, my wish is that you do. Is solar dry project? Yes, that one is okay. Is making ethanol a project? Kind of that one I wouldn't advise for children to do it within school community. It can be somewhere else. Yes, project titles, please. Like I've said, Geoffrey, we don't have project titles for particular subjects. A project title can be anything. Any subjects can fit in. What you are seeing on my screen, it has biology, it has physics, it has everything. So it has to be something general. Making a poster is not a project. Board games, as long as you can use local available materials, scale them up and come up with something very productive. I think the questions are really very many. Toothpaste, as long as you're going to use local available materials, not things where you're going to add in a lot of chemicals. Is the project work continuing to A level? That one you are going to wait for the that curriculum to come up, but it is going to, if it is involved, it will be the best idea. Yes. Now I'm saying, let me pick these 2 hands. One, any person I unmute, kindly unmute. Those are the hands I want to pick. St. Francis Xavier, unmute. Zeus, unmute. Yes, and those are the only questions that I'm taking. St. Francis Xavier.
Thank you so much. My question is, yes, thank you so much for teaching us. And my question is, if we decide to make the talking environment when it has communal information to help in the community, like for example, like in our school, giving information about the rules and regulations so that many students can see it, can it be a project or?
Not really. That one is.
Thank you so much.
Okay, now that one, St. Francis, it is good for senior one under SIMP and routine. At the end of the day, you keep asking yourself, can this knowledge be used outside the community? Can this knowledge help the child to learn more about a particular subject within what he's doing? So in case something is not helping the child to deepen his understanding of the content learned, but also when it's not helping other communities, then it is not a good project. So that one we can call it simple and routine. Something that anything you're doing within the school community, ask yourself, can the child scale it up such that in the future, when he's outside, he can use it to generate more incomes? Take an example, when a child comes up with a fertilizer, maybe that one, the child can keep on developing, improving it every day, every time. And you'll find out that in the future, this fertilizer that the child has come up with can be used by communities outside. He can use it for his community. So other people within other communities can be able to use it. So come up with something that the children, even the child now, can be able to earn it, because we want these children, because one of the aims is that let the children leave school when they have a skill that they can do to earn a living. We are producing people who have those employable skills. Yes, then one last question from this person can unmute. Yes, St. Catherine, I've said the solar dryer can be very good. Okay. Yeah, okay. I think those other questions, kindly, you drop them. You drop them, we shall be able to share with you. Kindly, you just drop them somewhere. We can be able to answer them, because I think we have been here from 9 and we're about 280, 250. Some people have dropped out. So we shall share the recording. For any of the questions you have, they will be answered. But allow me to invite Mr. Ronald Dungu from the ministry to say something, and then he closes this session. Mr. Ronald, in case you're in position to talk. Mr. Ronald, are you in position to talk? Yeah. Making a ball using polythene bags, that one is not a project. That is senior one, simple and routine projects. Mr. Ronald? I don't know whether...
Yes,
yes. Mr. Ronald?
Hello?
Yes, Mr. Okay.
Oh, you're pausing.
Yes, yeah.
Okay. I must say that I've not been able to follow a lot of the engagements because of the career day we are having here at Gayaza High School. But I'm happy that you've had this discussion, and I hope the members on call and the schools that are on call have picked a few things. As a Ministry of Education, we are definitely committed to ensure that the curriculum takes root, and we'll do whatever it takes to ensure that we all learn what is expected to be done. The only way is for us to link up together as teachers and keep sharing the little we know. So I want to thank you, Mr. Kaziba, and your team for the engagement you've had this morning, and hope that we can have this again some other time. Thank you, and over to you, Mr. Kaziba.
Thank you so much. Mr. Rod, I think, can you give some word on the teaching profession? Because you have said you are on career, we may have some children here who may want to join that teaching profession.
Yes, like I've been saying in the last sessions, we would definitely would love to have very vibrant teachers joining the profession. We want you to select the teaching profession as a #1 career, and there are quite a number of advantages within the teaching profession. And I just want to say that beyond the pay, there is a lot we do as teachers. Teachers touch lives of people. Teachers support the growth of the young from childhood to adult. Teachers determine where the child will go, in which career path they will go. We need teachers who are passionate. We need teachers who are ready to support the development of this country. My call this morning or this afternoon is to encourage you as learners to take up the teaching profession. And like you've known, the salaries are increasing, they're improving, and therefore teachers will be well paid very soon, and you will be one of those in the future to enjoy that. We also have holidays. When you have a holiday, when the school is on holiday, the teacher goes on holiday, okay? And that is a great thing for you to refresh, but also it gives you an opportunity to do professional development, to read. And a teacher is always a learning person. So you don't remain archaic, you don't remain behind. You are the leader on the village, and therefore joining the teaching profession is a great way to live your life as an individual. So I call upon the students here to join the teaching profession so that we can carry forward the good work that is already happening in this country. Thank you.
Thank you so much, Mr. Ronald, for the motivation, and thank you so much for always linking us to the ministry. We are really very grateful for the great service you are offering to this country. I want to thank all the schools that have been able to join this session. We are really very grateful. The picture you are looking at, those are students from Gaia's High School. They're having a career day. So the picture you're seeing on your screen is for the students from Gayaza that are really having the career day. We want to thank everyone that has been on this call. We are really very grateful. For any other questions you may have, kindly, we shall answer them at our WhatsApp group, but also one time we shall be able to have a session talking about other features. For anything we have not been able to exhaust, kindly, we shall be able to do so, but we are going to share the report. We are going to share the report with you. We are going to be able to share the presentation. The video is going to be uploaded on the YouTube very soon, and let us work towards achieving our objective of ensuring that each child is really very ready for the end of the exams that they are preparing for, and then for the mock exams. I appeal to all the teachers on the call. Let's do all what it takes to see that our children can do all the project they are supposed to be done and be submitted to UNEB. For schools that have large numbers, attach mentors to each to the different students and let those mentors help out. And then for the school administrators, kindly let us provide the resources to the children to be able to do their projects. But for children also, kindly ask your parents to give you the support. Let us utilize that little pocket money we have to see that we finish our product. At the end of the day, it is those products that we have come up with that are going to be helpful and that are going to be able to help us build our skills. So anything you are doing now, dear students, take it seriously. Those things you are making, is it a soil dryer? Is it an insecticide? Is it what? make sure you utilize them very well, such that when you utilize them, you can be able to develop those skills at a later time. You will be able to continue with those skills. So anything you are doing, take it seriously. Don't only stop at getting the marks. We are not looking for the marks. We are looking at you building your skills, such that when you go back to your community, those skills you have acquired from the school can help you become a better person. You want to become an engineer? It is the idea starts now. Let us develop those ideas we are learning from the school in order for us to scale them up in the future and come up with those big innovations. Your children, other children in other schools you are seeing, maybe from China, they start from childhood. A child from China starts building those simple phones from childhood, and it keeps on building the idea. The idea keeps on building, and then at the end of the day, they're able to come up with the phones that we are using now. So those simple ideas, let us take those baby steps of learning those things, put our minds on them, and then we shall be able to build up those ideas. And at the end of the day, we shall become a better children. Otherwise, I want to thank all the schools, all the teachers, all the children that have been on the call. Thank you so much. And let us say, okay, my number, it is that number I'm dropping in the chat. It's that number. But calling may be a bit hard for me, but at least you can be able to send me a WhatsApp message that I can. Then schools that have their videos, feel free to to have your video on. Feel free to have your video on. I want to see whether we can take a photo. And so I want to thank you so much, everyone that has been on the call. Dear teachers, thank you so much. I know I have not exhausted all your questions, but I'm going to share. But for schools, I also want to encourage that we can have, let us make like something like a books, where we can keep those students' records, such that we don't need now to have papers, because anytime those papers may get missing. But when you have a book, then it can be easy for you to keep the records very well. Otherwise, thank you so much. And let's meet next time. Next time, we shall talk about other items, maybe observation checklist and another thing that you may have a question in. Okay, otherwise, thank you so much. And let me wish you a good day. Bye-bye, everyone. Feel free to unmute. Those who want, you can unmute and say bye-bye to us. Otherwise, bye.
Bye,
And let me
everyone.
wish you a good day.
Bye. Thank you so much.
Bye. Thank you, Mr. Kaziva, student.
Bye.
Bye-bye.
Bye-bye.
Okay, bye-bye.